when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 yo, go, go, go. Hustle hard, hustle every single day. I'll be making moves till I'm
Welcome all of you to Karmic Dynasty. I am Joy Ishram, and today I have a studio guest, so I will bring him on soon. Also, the reason I'm here is because of this campaign I made up called King the Swimmer. King the Swimmer campaign. King the Swimmer I didn't make up. King the Swimmer campaign I made up. So I am receiving money for King the Swimmer through today to transfer to his momager, Sharice Reed L. And here's her information here. You may want to contact and communicate with her directly. You don't like middlemen like me? I don't like middlemen. So you can contact her directly. I have in the description of this video some information where you can look at and see for yourself the King the Swimmer in action. You can see him competing and some other things. I have probably since September 4th live broadcast at least probably like 6 videos. I may come back here this evening. I'm not sure. What I know right now is with all that I've said so far, and hey, you can send the money to me. Here's my Cash App, here's my PayPal. With everything I've said so far, is about King the Swimmer. So you're probably like, well, why she got grocery giveaway on her screen? Because I appreciate everyone who has provided their sacrifice for the King the Swimmer campaign I made up. So again, these monies that I have requested is not his momager asking for the monies, is not him asking for the monies. This 12-year-old king in our presence did not ask you all for any money, and neither did his momager. It's all on me. So if there's a problem, you got an issue with somebody asking you for some money in this series, talk to me. Come find me. You talk to me. My information, let me get it to you in the ticker below. Let me do that for you. There we go. Here. Contact me. Okay? Contact me. Now, my studio in guest studio is a man. I'm going to have him introduce himself to you all. Right quick, though, I must say, again, the grocery giveaway, it's because I appreciate everyone who has been here so far. I appreciate you all. I appreciate your sacrifices. I appreciate the strength behind your sacrifice. I appreciate the decision, the dedication, the motivation, the will, the power to get that done. And again, I recognize the sacrifices on point that a lot of you who have donated, I know some of your circumstances that you went bypassed to show your concern for and your participation with the King the Swimmer campaign I made up. So with that being said, everyone who has given up till this point, I love you all. I love everyone who gives past this point. I love you all. This is the thing. Because again, I want this to be about us. Again, I could make this happen myself. I could have easily got the money and just pass it over to Sharice Reed and been like, here you go for King the Swimmer. I really felt like I have like this bond with you all, and there's this community within us, and like we can work on this together. It's not something I had to do by myself, because I have people like John's son with us who has contributed, and we thank him. He speaks Grand Rising, and what up though, fam? What up though? All right with him is Cherie Reed L, hashtag Unoccupied Turtle Island. She says, grand afternoon, uprising royals. With that, what up though? Be sure to like and share. Subscribe to the platforms, comment, and participate. And we got Cody. D. Martinez Jefferson in here with his grand afternoon, Empress. Grand afternoon to you as well. And he loves me too. He loves me too. And now, recognizable moment. Today, I received contributions. I've shared with Sharice Reed L. transferred already. Today's largest donation, fiat donation amount comes by way of Jeffrey Valentine. So Jeffrey, I appreciate you. The platform Karmic Dynasty appreciates you. Sharice Reed L appreciates you. King the Swimmer appreciates you. Karmic Dynasty, all that it is, has been, and will be, appreciates you. And everyone else who has contributed. Some people come on the panel like today and speak. And as Conscious said did. And I'm thankful. I'm grateful to see the need for this platform. So the platform will stand. The platform will continue past today. With all this appreciation that I'm feeling, somebody was talking about my energy. They feel my energy. Woo, I must give back. Now, I know y'all didn't think y'all was going to give. And I asked you to give something. And I wasn't going to give something back. Now, this is how this rolls. Everyone that has given up to this point, the amount you donated, I'm doubling that amount in groceries to you and to deliver to your door. That's what I'm doing. So I have a record. I've kept a record. Sharice has kept her record. Everyone who has donated, I offer you, because you had to give me some information, like I need your address and a good time to schedule to make sure the delivery happens. And some of you, I will be delivering it myself in person. So we need to have some communication. So I'll be reaching out to everyone who has participated, because I love you all, each and every last one of you. And so I am doubling your donation and bringing groceries to your door. Okay. All right. Because we come to the table. We come to the table to break bread. And definitely on breaking bread and coming to the table and having some balance in here. Oh, today I bring you Buddha Eternal El Bay today. He is joining me on the panel, and I'm bringing him in now. He's smiling. I see him. He's ready for y'all. Y'all don't know. Watch out for him. Y'all better pay attention because he's coming. Y'all ready? Y'all need y'all note. I'm telling y'all right now. Take a few moments. Get you some pencil, pen, paper, writing instrument, and some paper. Buddha Eternal El Bay about to hit y'all. Each and every one of y'all, you about to get at least one item from this brother right here today. Peace. Peace. Collective greetings. Welcome to Karmic Dynasty. I'm glad you're here. Right quick for everybody, I met him in Virginia Beach. Oh, we. Kushan Shango Haru with me right now. Oh, we. I met this brother in Virginia Beach. Introduce yourself to everyone. We love you. I'm telling you already, we love you. Introduce yourself. Thank you for being here.
Okay. Give thanks. I'm Brother Eternal. They go by Buddha Eternal. I actually have Eternal El Bay as the nomenclature of who I am, and into my older vibration. Basically, high blood pressure was one of those keys that kind of like had me look into things more vividly and more into the pulsation. So what I did was I'm up here on Eternal El Bay as Facebook, also on my TikTok, Buddha Eternal El Bay, and then of course I'm up there also on TikTok with Eternal El Bay, and I have the IG up there. Eternal is EETURNAL, and then there's also Eternal Cuss with ETURNAL/ with the KUS, and that's where my copper will be up there, and you can see a lot of my stuff up there. This is the journey that I'm taking since high blood pressure at 16. So give thanks to be on your show.
Gratitude. So you had high blood pressure at 16?
Yes.
Do you have high blood pressure still?
No.
So you was a young man with high blood pressure though.
Yeah.
That's an obstacle to overcome. Now, did you have any support in that from the community, from anyone as a young man? How that work?
No, I didn't actually. I would say, the support I've gotten was from the inexperience, rather than the experience. So I could say the support was a little different on how you would look at it. You know, certain people would just, you know, they'll mock you because they don't know that experience. So it might have been like, oh, let's get some food from, you know, McDonald's or whatever. And they said, oh, my bad, I forgot, you can't eat this. And it was like, okay. So I'm gonna have to see it from another aspect. Peace, peace, peace. Yeah. And I feel that that was like, even though we might think, we might think a way of pushing someone by stripping them. And that was the other purpose of me becoming Buddha. You end up going into a phase, you would actually call it fear for a second. Because, you know, you don't want somebody to poke fun at you and things like that. However, it was either I change my food habit or take these pills that I knew I wasn't going to want to take or even enjoy taking. So I had to overcome that. My mother being a nurse as well, so that was kind of like seeing her field, yet it wasn't the field that I was supposedly having. And so I had to even combat to that to realize myself as an individual in the family. And come to find out, you know, the history behind it, know as it is, I'm the only one that came out with no glasses. So, you know, you see that the stomach is important and how it leads to high blood pressure and how it can lead to having strokes, heart attacks, things like that. But it was that point of me being at 16. I fell on my head, basically. That's what ended up happening. And I would have never known hadn't I fall. Found that the fall, like they say, you got a bipolar tool that you can use that when you're going into doing surgery, that they can actually freeze your blood from squirting out fast. So what it's a bipolar tool. That's what they end up calling it, some kind of bipolar. So when I'm hearing the word bipolar, meaning two, right, and poles. So bipolar, I knowing it has something to do with either cold or it's hot. But yet, if your blood is going and it's hot, it definitely must be cold to freeze it, you know, to stop all the external bleeding so much. Your body has something in that same aspect. And so I went into a coma. And the coma was a light case coma. It wasn't like, you know, how most people, they might be, you know, out for a year or two. I actually went out for 5 minutes. And during that time, my body shut down. But it was just like how you can see a computer or, you know, you working on something electronic and then that thing just goes completely out. That was me when I did the 360. Well, I was wanting to do a 360. I ended up doing a 180 and landed on the back of my head. And that took me out. And so once it took me out like that, 5 minutes of me being down on the ground and no one was around when it happened. So that was the other thing. So 5 minutes me being out to then getting up and, you know, I don't even think I touched my head. It was so much of that part now is still kind of a phase to the point where I remember going towards the door, going inside and seeing my family. But not only my family, I'm seeing my other family, like my uncle's family. And I'm like, what they doing here? And they was like, you know, it's New Year's Eve. What you talking about? And then I look and I see they got, you know, the Nintendo and they're playing on it. And they're like playing real, you know, hard on it. And it's like, wow, when did we get this? What is this? And they was like, this Nintendo. And it's like, what's wrong with you? And I said, you know, because I was asking, you know, when did we get it? And they were like, something wrong with him because, you know, that was Christmas. And here it is, New Year's. So, you know, that's like a whole, almost like a, well, not even a month. It's more like 4 days. But still within that time frame, the gap of it had me think 5 years back. So I was actually 5 years back out of 5 minutes, you know, just landing on my head. And they were like, no, we got to take you to the hospital. And so when they took me to the hospital, they found out that I had a light case of amnesia.
Yeah.
And it was like, it'll come back. And it was like, now let me tell you the reason why. And I was like, okay. And it was like, because you got high blood pressure. And I was like, oh. And it was like, you got high blood pressure because you eating everything. And that's basically, you know, our eating habits can really take a hold on to us that some of us who like feel like we're indestructible, there might have been the conversation put there, you know, like, oh, he got a bottomless stomach. And so it's in the mind concept to constantly want to eat, yet are you feeding yourself or you're feeding your parasites?
Mm-hmm.
And so I had to get into a Buddha state, not from there as time progressed. Because, of course, 16 with high blood pressure, I just started, you know, working, doing the flyers, and then, of course, made it to cutting grass, and then going to, you know, then maybe paper boy. And it was like, as I'm going up the stages, I was 13 to 16, maybe 3 years in now, buying my own food. So at that point, buying my own food wasn't like I'm buying my own food. Now I gotta buy my own food. So not everybody's getting the EBT privileges. Like, you know, even now, you know, that makes it a point of even how you spend your money. You know what I mean? Like, spending our money is different compared to a lot of other people, because we thought we did notice the struggle when it wasn't really geared for our, you know, nationality of people. So I could see that to wanting to be in the house and still get some kind of benefit is made it to that aspect, to even in the projects, and how, you know, I mean, I love our sisters and our brothers, but it's mainly our sisters that get this. The word that is going to feed them, yet is going to also slow them down. And so I could see how my father was kind of really angry about that at that time, because it was food stamps that was out. And, you know, he was looking at it like, you know, he didn't want my mother to be someone who's just going to be in the house and not know any trade skills. So it's a lot of, when we look at today's society, was it trade? Was it industrial? And was it industrious? That's like a major issue right now. You can see it right now to how now a lot of us think industrious. We think industrial.
Right.
And that's the other side of why I had to come into my Buddha state, because no matter what I was doing, no matter what job I was into, this Buddha side started coming out. I was like, wait a minute now. You know why I even want to call myself this? And it made sense because I was watching martial arts, and I was seeing how, you know, the underdog, whoever the underdog was, they had to come out of a certain state. And that's what enlightenment is. Enlightenment is, you thought it was this way. You know, you like full force with that, confident, you know, and then next thing you know, it's like, oh, wait, that's not it. What do you mean that's not it? I just went with my whole plan to think, you know, I cashed all my dollars, you know, and it didn't make any sense. So you find out this is why a lot of us have to, you know, take our time with, you know, you knowing yourself. That's what it basically is about, you knowing yourself. Peace. And the more you get into knowing yourself, you can find out how the universe does call and respond to you. This is what the water does in the reflection. And I came to knowing that, you know, my sister being older, she was the water sign, and then I'm a water sign. And we never talked about the water signs. I'm like, what the freak? Like, I was there the whole time. We didn't talk about the water sign. How we did not do that? You know, and we could have combined some water sign ability. And when you think about it, you know, a lot of us get into denominations, and those become the other parts to how you say, oh, I'm Pentecostal, or I'm Baptist, or, you know, and you find out that it's a whole wide range, like almost 100 and some change of Christianity. And
Right.
that became like a point where it was to have a beginning state, yet there was more to it to myself, and I wanted that extra, something's kicking in and just telling me something else. Like, I don't see anybody doing Christianity martial arts. It just wasn't there. And then when you look at Islam picked up it picked up karate, and I saw karate in it. Like, and you seeing now you could you imagine seeing Malcolm X
I need to
doing a
go say
karate?
that.
You know what I mean? Like, what was I missing? How did I miss that part? You know what I mean?
Right.
So I had to look deeper in myself and was like, no, there's some self-defense going on here too. And growing up, like you said earlier about the support, my father, he had to come out of the household and become an army militant, brother, and come back with that. Now, of course, while he was gone, there were some things that still going. It's like, Little Trouble in Big China. There were some things going on in our foundation, and we were in the projects. So it led to a lot of the mothers, like I was saying earlier, where they had their children. They run around, run amok. And when you think of projects, it's not what you think of. Like when people say ghetto. Projects is an area where they're projecting a certain type of energy or environment into the area to make it ghetto. Even ghetto is a mind mentality that came from not even us. So to have that is to like basically make oneself seem like they're docile or a Sambo. There actually is a doll, a Sambo doll. I looked it up and I was like, whoa, there's a Sambo doll, and they had this. And they had Sambo walking with Uncle Sam. I said, oh, they went all out. They went from it being on the box and to cereal and, it's the little marching man, and I think he's blowing a horn and he's hitting the drums and, they put them in all little mixtures of stuff. And I'm like, wow,
You talking about one of these?
There we go. Yeah, you got it. Man, you quick. I like that. That's how we're going to do it. And so my father, he's the type that his name is Sam. So whenever you said Sambo, oh, he got heated. Yep, got the book. They got a book out. So it got me to a point where my mom always started me with long hair. And I came from Germany. So being born in Germany and not being from Germany is like different when people say, oh, my hometown and this what we did and this how I grew up. And I'm like, yo, I came right into the projects. I don't remember none of that y'all talking about.
And you know what I noticed? This is from a golden book. The golden book, I grew up reading those books.
And and we all had golden books. I know I did.
Yeah.
And it was the propaganda that was put in front of us that you didn't want to even have this complexion. Look how dark that child is. You know what I mean? And it was another way of calling it they say analytic. The analytic in a catalyst form to make.
Look like golden books are still out.
Yeah.
Okay. Dang.
Yeah.
My bad. I'm listening. I'm up here learning something right now. Go ahead.
You were saying that earlier. Like, we gotta know that when we talk to other people, we're gonna build with them. Or we just having a conversation about the sky being blue or white or whatever. And I don't know what you want to do with that. However, I guess that's a great conversation. I'd rather, build with you real quick so we can get some building going, and later on we could build with someone else later with it, and that's how they say that teach them how to fish, or I give them the fish. You give them the fish, you're going to keep wanting to eat off of you.
Yes.
Hey, man, remember that fish you gave me? Hey, man, can you give me another one?
That's right.
I don't got no more fish, man. I just gave them all out. Dang, man, I really like that fish. Man, no, look. You have to learn how to fish. You just did that right there with the research. And it makes sense to how my father, he didn't like that name. But now going from Sambo to Sambo Judasia, Sambo Judasia is the actual place. This is where the melanated being coming from. So it was for his name being Samuel, and he said, "No, I'm Samuel, I'm Samuel." I said, "Oh, so the pronunciation was important about my father, you know, and still is." And Benjamin or Benjamin, you know, his name was right there, two biblical names put together. And so for a name like myself was Eric, non-biblical name Eric. So I was like, wait a minute, I had to look back at myself, you know, and it's just 4 letters. It's not even 5. So I had to look at that too. Like symbolically, numbers are given to you by the ancestors that you might have to go through the tough path so you can find out that's your mainframe of yourself. Yet you're gonna get some armor as you get the muscle and you get the, you know, the tendons to start flowing with you, and you know you gotta stretch it though. You can't just because when you put the armor on, it's gonna be a little heavy. So you gotta be ready for that too. You can't be like, "Oh, I finally got the armor." Like, "Oh, somebody carry this for me." Nope, that's not how it happens. So it was a level to, you know, you learning. It's not just you got high blood pressure. It's not just your father wasn't, you know, in the household because of the military and because you had to serve, and you know, there's also the high school, and how were they, you know, putting it down on our brothers at that time. You know, and are they cool with them being in the school? Because I already know I'm left-handed, but me having the left hand, I had to become ambidextrous. Yeah, I had to. I had no choice. Either that or I fail. They said that in 4th grade. I'm a fail in 4th grade if I don't learn how to use my left hand. I mean my right hand. I was like, wow, I didn't know that was there. And so, not knowing yet knowing, these are the cases that how some of our children are feeling like they're suffering with PTSD and not knowing where it's coming from. You know,
and
these are
the importance of homeschooling too.
Okay, now we're going deeper with it.
Because I just got done with 2 other sisters writing the homeschool. We scribed a homeschool guide. We call it unschool guide. And the King the Swimmer, who we're speaking on today too, he is unschooled. His mom says road school because of his swimming in the competition. She's able to travel and have him in school. So this is my flyer for the unschool guide. There are 3 of us scribes, and this is Sharice Reed L's flyer, and then Shay L. She's one of the 3 scribes as well, and we're also the distributors for this unschool guide.
That's it right there.
School.
Come on, Ma. That's all I'm talking about. Like, we can't expect an oppressor to give you nothing but what? Oppression. At the end of the day, that's how this. You can't even go around it. You're like, okay, here's the bipolar side of it. Oh, you know, and it's like you should have 3, 4 sides, and say, nope, we only got 2 sides. There's a good and there's a bad. I was in a Title I school, worked in a Title I school for 13 years, and to go through that and see the children that schools I actually went to, I did not even think about, you know, because like I said, with that light case of coma can put a person in a relapse mode to see themselves back in time again, even after they done already did whatever they were doing. Right. And so now it's a point of looking back as when you know TVs were put out there for a reason to give you a short version of what life is about. Then you got movies that also went in that same direction, but given to you longer version and more dramatic, more climax, you know, more maybe lies. But yet they're putting you so fast that they might have to throw stuff that's 1,000 things to where you can still catch it. And that's what your brain end up doing to, like, it might be a picture that had me go right back into when that time that I saw that first picture. You know what I mean? That's how movies are doing it for us now. They're actually showing you how your brain is reacting to life and how you see it through memories and how you go back to remembering. I mean, how are you going to be a member anyway unless you what? Remember, right?
Remember, that's right.
Because remember, they say remember, and then you got to remember to end up doing the memory. So, Asir Dukatir, strong brother. I love that brother, man.
Yes,
He was
yes.
phenomenal. He's phenomenal. He helped me out. I cried like multiples of times just listening to the brother because I felt like I've been bamboozled, you know, being in the school setting. And, you know, I could listen to Umar Johnson. However, he's just going to get me mad. I need to go somewhere else with that. I need to find out, like what you just said, the inner core, because we can go into communities. However, as the community's 501c3, and then you got back up, and you're like, damn, I go that way because that's not where we're going back to the same. Like, I just got out of that, you know. So,
Yes.
Learning the schools, and there's other 501. It ain't just 501c3. You can go up in the bracket, 501c8, I think it's called. There's other ones that you can do other than that. So that's what I said to myself. If anybody else tells me that they're doing non-funding, you gotta expand. It can't just be 1 and 2 with the expansion here, you know. And I know that there's other ways because I'm doing it. There's still other ways to get yourself financially right, whether it's not financially right. Go in spiritually to create your financially right. You're going to find that all your ways are going to come back to even your physical finance will still come back in. You know, this is how you're still going to feel you're missing 3 parts to yourself. And they taught us this in school. You got solid, liquid, and gas. If you don't solidify anything, how do you liquidate anything to gas anything out?
That's right. That's right.
So you have to have what my brother what's my brother? He's the twin of blue pill and red pill. I can't think of his name right now. It's gonna beat me up when I get off here. Anyway, this brother, he was giving us the breakdown of the components, and because we went to school and we only got to 3rd grade and we only learned the 3rd level, so just like when they would challenge me on my left hand, I had to learn right hand. Because like you said earlier with the home training, my mother was the one that gave me my foundation before I knew it. I was in there. You know, my sister was the first one that had to get the training. So, you know, when you train someone the first time and you go into the second one, you're like, okay, I think I got a little bit better at, you know, as you're teaching someone. So that's the same thing. And she started giving me the encyclopedia versus the dictionary. And I'm going further with the expansion, even though she was the reader of the encyclopedia. I wasn't really interested. However, it was a point of you seeing pictures with the words, and you seeing not only that in the dictionary, you seeing the lines, the brackets, and you knowing etymology before you even call it what that was, you know. And that was the point of me before going into school. And then I'm getting challenged in the 4th grade. When, you know, in the 3rd grade, they had to see me like, oh, this brother, he's gonna be a nuisance. Let's switch the whole, you know, circle around him so he could be a square, and then figure out from a triangle. And, you know, so like I said with the brother, arts degree. It came to me. Art degree. He brought up the easy line. And when you think of easy line has a way of it's coming back to you, but a different way than you saw it. And the easy line represents that solid liquid gas with a little bit of each one of them to have whatever that is. And we call it the atmosphere. We have components that through the sunlight vibration, pulsation, you got the earth pulsating back, and now you have something you don't know, but you're feeling it. You're like, man, I feel excited. What's that? What y'all doing today? And it's about this, so they're like very major, and that's why when you state that, this is what art is about. The Mozart, the Moses becoming the artist, and Mozart to Rosicrucian, the Rosicrucian to roses, to red, the white roses. Why did all that become what it is? We saw color as our beginning state of learning. And it wasn't just the color, it was the shapes that was in the color, and then the patterns of that became numbers. And then we said, this is my mathematics of how I speak. And then it said, choose these words, and now choose these words wisely. And like, what words you talking about? I heard sound. I heard sound. I didn't hear words. The sun, the trees, they got sound to them.
Yes.
You know, and that's profound. And that's when I started to realize I couldn't hear my echo. Being in the school, no, I couldn't find no echo. I wanted to be learning how to draw and things. Then that was my echo.
Mm-hmm.
Then I start seeing tracing. You know, you was tracing first. You didn't know how to draw that. Come on now.
Right.
You act like you know. He's like, no. Okay, you know what? Anybody looking? I'm gonna put this here, and I'm gonna trace this out. Let me see how dark this is. Yeah, I got it. I'm gonna trace this out, and then you say, okay, that's Bugs Bunny, or that's whatever. You start seeing that you drew that. However, you wanted more than that. You didn't want that plain A to B. You wanted to see C. So, like I said, easy line, EZ, just the letter E to the Z, and line became the alchemist. We became alchemists overnight, and that anyone. We become alchemists in a split second of a second. Like, you could put somebody on stage and they didn't have to rehearse none of it, and they just got up there and naturally did it. And they're like, "What is that?"
Yes.
And then they said, "That's supernatural." We gotta put that in the bottle and get rid of it, or keep it to ourselves.
Yep.
We call that melanin.
That's right.
And a lot of us got it.
That's right.
Oh yeah. And so you can hit on juices, sister. Thank you for even having me up here.
You're welcome. Now, we talked about, so we are here to support King the Swimmer and receiving donations, Ashe. And I am transferring donations to his momager, Sharice Riel. If you'd like to contact her directly, her information is in the ticker below. For everyone who has given up to the point that I announced the grocery giveaway, I am doubling the contributions in the form of groceries delivered to your door, either by a delivery company or me, myself, and I. Those three, me, myself, and I. Today I have here with me Eternal Buddha, Eternal El Bay, and he is here speaking as a mentor to the young men on their path to manhood and continuous on their journey. And sharing some of his own experiences is what we're working on today. So the thing, when you were 16, if you knew then what you know now, because the community came in and assisted you in regards to your blood pressure concerns, how much more of an effect would that you think that would have had? Do you envision that would have had on your healing sooner than you did?
Yeah, that's like putting the fire out before it got started. So yeah, because to give you that part without telling you someone touched me at a young age would be the other part missing, to how they could have, the alarms would have set off a whole lot quicker and faster. And it's ironic, you're speaking this now. I have a son who's at the age of 20. And I'm telling him this story I'm giving you now. So it's ironic that just happened over last night. And I told him that, I wanted to protect him so it wouldn't be how it was done to me.
That's right.
I had to do my utmost, pay attention with my antennas. How we say, y'all go in the room and play. We say y'all go in the room and play, but what are the adults, as what we're calling ourselves, doing that caused them to go in the room and play? Now, I get it. Nowadays, they just do whatever in front of them, and I'm saying not that either. Like, if you're into seclusion, you can still do the seclusion. However, there got to also be the inclusion later on, not to say separation completely. And that causes a lot of extra, that just doesn't need to be there. And if your child doesn't know nothing about self-defense, offense, then there's a lot of things that can happen to your child at an early age that can stunt
Mhm.
the reason for having high blood pressure and all these other things. Because when we eat comfort food, that's the reason why it's called comfort food. You know, something's stressing us out. Nervous
Yep.
system is in a whack. And the root chakra, because that was not my study about at 16, I didn't learn that till after marriage and a divorce.
Yeah.
So the experience is like,
Sounds
dang,
familiar.
is it me? Is it the relationship? Is it, and then you're going so fast, you even say, I got to still even slow down, even in what we call patience. Patience is not just outside, patience is also inside. And once I found that out, like for what my father has to go through, for what my mother even having to go through, uh, having me, having my sister, having another child before us, um, these are the experiences I'm learning now at 40 something. So to learn that and say, wait a minute, I thought I, learned what I could learn. Yeah, you got to go back and relearn what you didn't learn. So
That's
that's
right.
the unlearning. So now you can see why you called it learning in the first place. Take the L out. You can still see earn in there. So you have
Mhm.
to earn these learning aspects. And the L, when we put the L up, the L is just the 7 upside down. So when we see the steps, the cow steps that goes all the way to Kemet, how do we look at our origin in okay, I got something to be happy about. What did you see happy? Did you know happy was an actual village? That it was a group of people? You know what I mean? Or did they change the word HAPI to
Mhm.
HAPPY?
That's
The Y
right.
became an inverted triangle.
Mhm.
Those that don't see it, it's an inverted triangle. So when you put your Y back together versus the actually with the W and the H, that can confuse people when there's this, well, why I got to do that? That's the authority, yet it has no power in the authority. So when someone's asking them to, explain themselves, the why, like I said, to me, and it could be if anybody, however, it became a warehouse. The WH, this who is this in the warehouse? There's the mother, the father, and the child, and we kind of switched it around to where it's like the spirit that's running around, and now the spirit can do anything on the external when this internal is having the situation. It's like
Mhm.
you got going back in there and fix this before you say, oh yeah, I could get married, I could do all of that. And
Mhm.
so it was like I ran all the way around to go back to say, hey,
That's right.
tap me on the back of my shoulder. Did you learn a little bit more about yourself? No, not exactly. Do you know about your grandfather? No. And
Mm-mm.
so that was the other things, like learning now as a grandfather, how did my grandfather go further, and how I have to look back even in myself to say, not to repeat if I have already repeated the history, just
Mhm.
like the food, just like the life as the lifestyle. So to catch it quicker is like a better thing to do than to let it go on and be the ongoing thing. And that's why, even like you said, if it was maybe at 16, what, man, that was like already, because it was like you're heading down the wrong road, which is the left. You're heading down the left road, which is not wrong at all. You just got to have 3 lefts to equal to 1 right.
Mhm.
And it took me those 3 lefts because I almost went to jail at 17,
Mhm.
and I was already experiencing sex at 13.
Wow.
So from 13 to 16, you could imagine before I got there, when my father gets out of military, comes in with his militant attitude, he's saying, you're going to smell your piss one day. So I'm
Mm.
like, I don't know what that is. And then I
Right.
found out, and what age would that be? At 17, So the experience before you get 18, sometimes you can almost lose your life before you get to 18. And you
Mhm.
seeing our younger generation are in that mode right now that they don't care if they have to lose their life. So now we do have to talk a little bit different. We can't be, I'm gonna muscle in on this child and the child gonna respect me. No, the child's gonna disrespect you and disrespect everybody around you because you did that. We
Mhm.
are the we are the bombs that's setting off other bombs now. We seen that since good times when James Evans walking in the door, pissed off about work and slamming the door, and and mom just made food, and yet it's probably oatmeal, and that's not what you should be eating, even though it looks like glue, and there's a whole bunch of I didn't know. Nobody knew this at 16. Eating oatmeal hot is really like eating cereal, and now you made it to turn to glue, and then there's gluten in the oatmeal that we don't know. So there's a lot. Pesticide is in it with gluten. So you've been attacked from day one, whatever you're eating, and it could be the household attacking you, and you wouldn't know it. It's just time to wake up from that. Time to wake up, become more aware of it, taking it for real. That if you want to eat right, you got to live right to eat right. And that takes a little bit more time. It's not going to be something that's going to be rushed into, yet put some effort. It's just putting the effort. I didn't learn at 16 fully to eat like better. I just learned at 16 to eat no pork at that time. So it was still hitting me later on as you get older. And because you want to be in the streets, it's like I want to have sex. No, you don't need to have sex. What does sex do for you? I don't know. The grown folks do it. See, that's why you're being taught in school. You're being taught on the TV. You're being taught on Netflix about having Kundalini cupcakes and conscious Kundalini chai tea. That's what my brother bringing up. He said chai. I said conscious Kundalini chai tea. That's deep. Cuddle up and do what? We gotta know our conscience first. We just gotta be in our conscience. Yes. Since day one.
You know what, the thing is, you speaking all of this, despite the obstacles that you have faced, the small amount that you're talking to us about today, and going from childhood, young man to manhood, with many more experiences in life to go. Some would say that you coming to us today by way of your shop that you're in, you're successful. You succeeded. Well, you survived. You got to adulthood. You know what I mean? So talk to us a little about your shop as you continue to talk to us about this health and nutrition that you're talking to us about today. And it's just like, look, I'm doing a grocery giveaway at the same time you giving us these gems on health. So tell us more about your shop and you and your successes.
Okay, so I'm actually been in a place that now the environment is stronger, more productive. The brother named Jamal, he's been doing the we call him Dr. Jamal Robinson. You can check him actually on he's on actually Facebook as well and Instagram, Herbal Market Wellness Center. And so Herbal Market Wellness Center is on 6523 Auburn Avenue, and right here in the corner is basically where I'm at. And this location, I got actually some great copper. I'm dealing with the copper because of the high blood pressure. And so I got from crowns to the actual rings on the finger, as you see one on my finger. There's actual stones. These stones, crystals, are helpful in the minerals. And so when you think about minerals help amplify the body, as well as when you have motor skills that's kind of like imperfected. So when we look at perfection.
All right, he blinked out. Well, I'm over here blinking. He is out, so he'll be back. I'm pretty sure he'll be back. He'll contact me. He can use the same link to get back in. Yes, while he is coming back into the studio, I am Joy Ishram. I have taken upon myself to have a King the Swimmer campaign and asked that the platform supporters, viewers, followers, spectators send $1 or more. And yes, he is with us now. So we will continue. I'm glad you're back.
I don't know where I left off at. Finger got quick. But I got some actual capsules the brother does, and he's been doing it for over 25 years. So we're talking about Why do I have high blood pressure? What can I help out with in the community? Also being another avenue for other people, from the arthritis away, black seed oil, bladder kidney care, cold care, diabetes care, eye care. Who cares? We got the feminine hormone balancer. We have herbal calm, high blood care, immune booster, intestinal colon cleanser, prostate care, manpower, uh, mind muscle, sea moss, skin care, stomach indigestion, super detox, super hair nail and growth, super weight away, total body nutrition, and woman power. And we also have them in powder form. So when we get into capsule or powder, one more, wanting to have a capsule aspect, they can get that on the go, gravitate towards that, or you can use the powder form. And then over here on the other side of the wall, we actually have individual herbs. So it's in alphabetical order where it's spirulina, moringa, what have you. Certain ones that are going to help you along the way. And so you might know which one specifically that you're into. In the center of it, we actually have the arthritis away, the bladder, kidney, the cold care, everything you saw on the opposite. This is on this side of the wall in the center of our actual wall. And then, of course, this is the other side with the A to Z on what is it that we need to repair ourselves. And then, of course, I got some, we have some sea moss already made up gel form sitting down there. We are also into having ginger hales. Now, the brother actually created this on his way of just bending. And that was that introduction also with Baba Jamal. He was like, why don't you see if you, bend some of this stuff out? And he did. He actually started going from selling it like how you do a lemonade stand to he actually got a company now that's producing his juice and it's cold pressed. And that's the best thing about it. It's not heated. So you're not taking in sugar that's hot. The whole idea of you taking in hot sugar, your body getting an extra rush that you don't really need. And then that's dehydrating your body. So like things that also with chemicals can create that too. The dehydration is the number one factor of how most of us, just basically pass out and don't know where that's coming from. We have the spa, and in the spa, yeah, we have actual, we got the actual chair massage, and we have the table massage, and I got my actual bowl, my hand pan drum here. So whenever we want to have an interaction with higher sounds, the binaural can play higher when you have certain things like that to play. And you hear now what it can work with in your body to open up those channels that we say is closed up. This is also the area where we get our cosmetics. And so we got the shea butter, we got the castor oil, some nurturing the body shampoo, some beard oil, and for the hair, nature's blessing. Most people know about that one. Eczema, psoriasis. If you need that help with the situations, shea butter, that's always needed in the soap. And then we got doodoo soap, we got the African soap, and we have plenty of the toothpaste from different types of varieties. And you could imagine what we can do when we have people who already are on it. This is Marcia's work, Marcia Harris Owens. You can look her up. She actually got unscented soap because she dealt with skin irritation, so she goes deeper about what type of stuff. This one is spearmint basil, the actual bath bombs, and then there's a lavender body product here too as well. And that's what we do. We actually get people on that collective as well to come in. If you already doing what you're doing in the community, you're like, okay, well then let's see what you can work with.
Right.
So he got the black seed oil. That's another great thing that we need. And then we have the Guduchi. That's helpful for those who need a good stamina. And we got some more ginseng in here from one side to the other. The dietist tea. And of course, those who got the fragrance oils want to put some oils on you, do that up. And so this is the room.
Um, yeah, I didn't go into the spa room, but definitely when I come back, I need an appointment.
Okay. And I was over here doing some necklaces, just getting
Oh,
ready for the show tomorrow. We got a show actually. It's a Caribbean Fest in Norfolk.
mm-hmm.
It's been a while since they've been opening up shows out there, so we gonna jump on that and make that happen too. So yeah, it's a lot going on right now. And September 24th, I'm actually doing something in Millennium River Road, and that's gonna be something great too, because I wanted to actually introduce sacred space. And sacred space, of course, like what we say right now, that's what we're doing. We're talking about how do you create sacred space amongst each other, whether you might have to go outside just to get it for a second, or you're inside and everything still seems like it's not working in your benefit, yet
Mm-hmm.
you create it by the environmental uh, objects that you have, like candles, sage, Palo Santo, or just even having your headphones, putting it in your ear and playing not just the regular music that you play, the music that goes into your binaural that now can help you uplift yourself. Because of course, if you're regularly playing these things and it's not helping you, that's the whole
Mm-hmm.
reason. It's not good. It's not that good energy yet. So when you do that, oh, I see somebody up there. Yes, respect. Yes, we're going in. Norfolk is a major stomping ground to the jazz. The not only the jazz, the New Orleans, um, that that New Orleans got that they made out of it. That was the part that Norfolk basically made a big baseline out of when it comes down to Virginia, and most people haven't gave them that credit. And the reason why I know it is because I've been running around pioneer brothers who, when it came down to the heroin era, it took a lot of our strong brothers out. And um, being music is like well, it is what it is. It's a magical thing. And because that was so much of an important to taint it or to make it lesser than what it was, this is why you see a lot of us, maybe even by ourselves, or end up being into the addictive livelihood, when you find out that there's the child that couldn't experience their childlike, and so now they go through the ongoing childish, and then there's the reason why most of us walk around when they got money in their hand and they're still acting child. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
that's
Exactly.
that. That's the upside down world, and that's why
Yeah.
just like my poem was an upside down moment. It lets you know
Message.
that. It lets you know that we're not here to do upside down with each other. If anything, you got yours, we got ours, and how you develop yours is not to stop the next person because you learn yours quicker. Does not mean stop the rest of us, like the Killmonger that I saw in Black Panther. I didn't like that part because that was showing us basically how they want our future children to act like. First is the jackal that was put up there, which we would know it from the coyote, and we know it also from this side of the land will be the coyote, jackal also, and then you got the connection of what from the jackal aspect. Why were they giving us these type of different dog looks versus cat when they were saying okay, so it was Black Panther being a cat, so they're giving you a dog. Why are they having you having a dog versus a cat? This is where we call it tricknology plays more. And if you know about Black Panther, um, just the word 1619 is familiar, right? Ain't that familiar?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, ain't 1961 familiar too?
You see 1619 on my calendar right here.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, there you go. I didn't even have to look. It was there the whole time. So
Yeah.
isn't 1961 familiar too?
Mm-hmm.
So these are the loops that's happening
That's
when it
right.
happened. And so 1968 was like the wipeout, feeling like, with a lot of what was going on. And
Mm-hmm.
so, but before they could get there, they had to put something there to flip it again.
Mm-hmm.
Before you get from A to B, I got to show you a C. So by the time you're seeing it, it's right in the beginning. They talking about the shaman connection. They talk about your five finger of brothers, as they call it. Yet connect to the sisters. This is your air finger, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is your fire finger. This is your water finger. This is your earth finger. And because we said solid, liquid, gas, with the fire, earth, air, and rain, you can make
Ether.
uh, you can make an etheric thumb out of this.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So when they said fire being the middle finger, you know that the fire, that's the longest finger.
Mm-hmm.
They said longest in Latin. It's called the longest digitorum. So now you got the longest finger in the middle. Respect, peace, brother. Peace, bro. He in the back. You can knock on the door. Oh, you come to see? Oh, okay. When you think of the longest finger, that's why this is the fire finger. Most people flick you off with the fire finger, so they don't know they're actually showing power, but the power still could be defeated if not knowing these two as a bond. This is your air finger, but yet they use this to balance. Yeah, in the back on the left. This is your air finger. So when you put your air finger with your fire, you're really saying balance. And this is also peace, but
Yeah.
separating it is like victory. And whose victory is it? That's why this
Air.
became
Mm-hmm.
a vice on self. That when we had four elements, that was one way of drawing a cartoon. But if I added one more finger, it was bringing reality in the cartoon. That's
Mm-hmm.
why we got downsized with four fingers. Same thing why we got downsized with the black and white. Same thing about 1619, not knowing about 1961. What's the difference? Well, the loop is the difference. If you
Mm-hmm.
think about when did they give us black and white as a TV? Wasn't color also technology? Then they
Mm-hmm.
call it color television. They said
Right.
color technology, color. What did they say? It was a name that they had on it.
Technicolor.
Yeah, you go. Technocolor.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, look at this. They're giving you your information regurgitated,
Yes, right.
and they're
That's
expecting you to
right.
stay just as moral or demoral than the average because they gave it to you in black and white. Even
Mm-hmm.
though they gave it to you in black and white, that wasn't even black. That was magenta and gray, calling it black and white. And these
Mm-hmm.
people purposely wore magenta clothes to show that it was supposed to be black and white. But then when they put it back in color, they showed them with full color and everything. You're like, wait a minute, that's why this looked weird. Because the color was
Mm-hmm.
never missing. They just took the color out.
Mm-hmm.
So now you've been having a black and white thing about yourself, your four fingers, not knowing about your fear, and then how your etheric finger, now when it's connected, you can grab and grasp things, that
Mm-hmm.
grip things, the grip of your hand became why I had to have a gun in it. And so, or have a controller in it. So now
Mm-hmm.
your fingers will get cramped up holding anything too long.
Mm-hmm.
Or have a pole in it or a sword in it. So to make it more destruction was the instruction versus production. And we need production. We got production people. We all been producing a lot. Yet
Mm-hmm.
what is it in the production that helps us manifest ourselves? You know what I mean? And that's all it is. As a child, all our children running around here, we got a lot of production already out. So
That's
now
right.
what do we give them as production? You know, just like for the Stones. How do you have the Stones in your rap setup? How do you put it to where the children can get it? That's why I even took on the word Jegna versus mentor. And I
Mm-hmm.
get mentorship. I got it. And then there was this odyssey that was put with it where they said, well, now you got to give me something. I gave you something. You got to give me something. You're like, oh, wait a minute. I don't have nothing to give you. Well, then give me what you get. You give me what you got on you. This was the same thing our mother had to do when she had to feed our children. Same thing she had to do when they were in the projects. What else could she give them? Don't know. So it's the idea that did we really put project in our mind, and then we start to be a projector? Okay. We start to become a projector and project the wrong things, the wrong intent. This is what I was saying about this, me being the idea of learning what Buddha is, because that's what I had to go through. Be you. Duh. You got to go in yourself, come on out, and then see what is it that all is about. It's like a flower, a plant, and then how it stems. Is it stimulated? Is it non-stimulated? Is it bored when it comes out? Does a flower go dead on limb? You ever notice how the trees do the same? The plants do the same. You don't put any water on it. If you got house plants, this is the inner outer experiences. I had to learn from my mother being a nurse, a botany nurse to her own plants first before she touched anybody. Now, the experiences that I see though is like you can get damaged by a woman, damaged by a man, and you'll see no difference between the two because they are the same when it comes down to the hurt. And if we say I believe, like Asir said, he broke that joint down. He said, if you say you believe, then that's doubt.
That's right. Because that word lie is in there.
Okay, come on. And they say if you know it, then what? You know it, right? Either you know it or you don't.
Or you don't.
Okay, all right, cool. I believe there's a 7-Eleven down the street.
There's a possibility.
You want to go by his belief?
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. You could. You want to?
It could be a lie. Exactly.
I know it's down the street. What you want to do? And it's not down the street. He said, "Uh-oh." There's that bipolar right there, and you find out left and right is the red and the blue. When we know in the Matrix they put red in the green, not red in the blue. So something's going on here. Something's going on. They're giving us a middle, yet they're saying this is the top. Yet we know if that's the top, we need to find the middle then.
That's right.
Okay. So they had the green, but not telling you the green is the actual connection before you get to the top. So mainly most people are red, yellow, and orange to their livelihood, to how they're learning, to because you got a gut instinct. But that means you're also going back to your root chakra. I ain't saying you're getting up to your higher part. Your gut instinct. If your mind is connected to your heart, as again, Asir just broke that down. There's 3 realms in the body, just like I broke this down. Your solid, your liquid, and your gas is in your hips. Gas goes out. It can come up too. However, it's mainly going out. So when you're looking at the stellar is the head, the sonar is your solar plex area, and your lunar is your hips. So whatever you give, like from money to Mooney, they say you gave him a moon. You gave him you pulled your pants down on him. So these are things that, are we saying we're perverting ourselves or projecting a better project? And if you can better project yourself, you'll find ways of this inclination of even speaking even in this language that I know most people say it is not. It is. Look at the word to her. See how I said that? When it's really the. That's right. Tahuti. Tahuti in a lot of the languages. Without us not saying, is symbolically showing you your highest S would peak. When you say speak, a highest peak in your conversation. Just wouldn't know it though. So the frequencies could be all kind of thrown off, disarranged, jarbled, because again, this deals with the food habit, the lifestyle, and how you love yourself. Do you love yourself enough? That's the mental, physical, and the spiritual. You can do that, you're really there. You're really on point. You can do a mental, physical, spiritual with your etheric body. You're really on point. You don't have to actually program but so much. It's like a self-propeller already set up. And because of your melanin, and if you put enough what helps your melanin, it'll keep that propelling going on where you don't feel like you even losing in age. That's the experience that we say, oh, you look like you ain't getting no older. Like you're getting younger. Right? You get enough around the young melanated young children that got this spiritual like upliftment, you gonna feel that too.
Yeah, like all those grandchildren I have.
Yeah, see, you already know. And then when you find out, most people say, oh, Hansel and Gretel, that's the ones you gotta look out for. You so sweet, I could eat you up. That's the ones you gotta look out for.
That's right.
Because they telling you sacrifice.
Yes.
There's the difference between honors, sacrifice, because that's sacrilege, worship, and what's the other one? The worst one. I envy you, because that's going back to jealousy. Why did these things become what it is when we didn't say honor first? If you didn't honor it, that's probably the reason why all the other stuff don't work out for you.
That's it.
So they say, oh, I'm jealous you got that. Oh, okay. I gotta keep my eyes on you now.
That's right.
Like you're telling me you're no good for me right now. And people will do that more when they're saying, oh, I'm just joking, and you're like, no,
that's what I don't do. That's what I don't do.
Why would you joke that way if you call it joking?
Yes.
Make it somewhere I can laugh at, or I'm just a part of the laughter. And that's where the joke and the jouster is the change. The Batman and the Joker, they're the same.
Yeah. Hades
was created through the Batman's traditional concept of creating a Gotham City. So Bruce Wayne is like his alter ego, yet at the same time, Joker became a part of him, Penguin became a part of him, the Riddler became a part. He was so intricate at how he could pinpoint anything with these bad people, yet the bad was himself. Because how you know how bad you are? Yeah, give thanks, respect. How you know how bad you are until you see how good things are? So how do you know if it's the left without knowing the right of it too? There gotta be an other side. And then if you did a left and a right and said that's it, maybe you need to go 3 lefts to see how the right is, or go 3 right to see how the left is. That's like saying going to your past, look at your present again, and now you got a better future. And that's what the coma did for me. The coma actually woke me up and took me in a comma. Paused me for a second. Go and get yourself back in there again. And this time, brush you off. And that's the, they get a little pep talk. You're like, all right, break, hold, time. Here, look. This is what we got to do. You got to stop slacking. And then just give you that. All right, look. I need you when you go back in there, pay attention to how his foot is. Don't be just looking all around, act like you're going to lose out. So you got a coach of yourself inside of yourself. And they call it a coach, right? They call the coach the same thing they put with a horse. I just picked that up just now. They got a horse, right, with the coach. And that's you pulling the horse and the coach together.
Okay.
So the middleman is self. That's why most people don't like middlemen, because they say, wait a minute, I can outdo that. You talking about he can outdo what?
Yeah.
I already know how to do that. You trying to get me because you don't know who the middleman could be. It could be me, That's right. And that's how we're seeing the tradesman is really the marksman, and the marksman is still the builder, and the builder is still what they call the hunter, because that's not all he did was hunt it. That they gave him a domestic concept because of what we call it now, wild. Not everybody's wild. Most of us is more natural than what we call the word wild.
Right.
And when you find out that, now you see who's in tune with nurturing the nature. Not being unnatural is the whole solution. Nurturing the nature. Like going outside, play an instrument, and then play it long enough that the insects hear you.
Yes. That
the birds hear you. That you affecting people and they say, hey, that was some great stuff. I like that. And you didn't know where they came from. Like, where did it come from? It came out of nowhere. But he's somewhere. Everybody's somewhere explaining their coexistence. However, is it helpful when they do it? Is it building when we do it? That way, when you walk away, it's not saying, "Oh, the sky is blue." No, it ain't.
Okay.
At what point is it blue? Does it change colors? It don't change colors? Dang, I guess the sky is only blue. No, the sky happens to be blue, purple. It doesn't turn pink on me one time, orange. It got all the colors of the rainbow I done seen. It
Yeah.
even turned blackish blue, purplish blue, black, you know, and then even a greenish color. It just depends on what reflection is going on with the water and the earth, you know. And I feel
Right.
like the experiences, as they say, as above, so below. So we all getting these experiences, and then there's this in between. That's why if you're a child right now and you haven't looked at Doctor Strange, you gotta look at the first one. Gotta look at the first one because that details the second one. And because he ain't had but two out, and that was dope because he went from Doctor Strange to multi universe Doctor Strange. Now, what's in between that is Spider-Man. How they do that? They had Spider-Man get in between that, and then there's three. Spider-Man 3, right? And there's No Way Home, right? But then they have three of the eight. I'm talking about these are spiders that has 8 arms. I mean 8 body parts. So that's giving you the idea of you're into 16 hours or you're into 24 hours. When first thing we knew was Spider-Man was one with 8 arms or 8 body parts, which was still connected to the Shiva coming in to be destroying us, yet not destroying us, destroying the ego that's had been crippled for a minute because it was about the Madame. You know, Madame is the first connection. This came from my seer. Madame is the first Miss Madame was the first mystery guidance, the coach for Spider-Man. He had a coach too. He didn't do all this by himself. So what they did is now reversed it, had Doctor Strange help him. And you know, in a lot of comic books that were showing him either fighting him or helping him. And this is where it went at where they made like a If comic book. Because you know, the If comic books came out, they was really going in like, what if Wolverine fought the Hulk, or what if Spider-Man fought?
I've seen that. That's a series now.
There she is. Yes, sir. Yep. You on it.
You talking about the What If series? You talking about the cartoons? They got the What If cartoons.
Yep.
Too. Yes, animated. Got animated.
They got no choice but to go there. They had something that they showed us that we ain't gonna never forget. So that's like the only way they could get rid of it is if we leave. That's the only way. So they got to relive all the stuff, the Star Trek, or whatever, the Star Wars. They got to keep reliving it. Now the only problem is they can't keep telling the lie and we not catch them. That's the problem.
Right.
Because they got one where the Hulk, the first time Hulk ever was put out on a series, Hulk was put out and it was about a woman. It was about a woman. You hear the whole little beginning of it. He wanted to save his wife, and he tried to push the car over. He had a dream, and he couldn't wake up from the nightmare. Here's what the nightmare. I'm gonna lead back to that in a second. And so he kept pushing the car, and he couldn't get the car to go over. So he like his eyes turned green, and then next thing you know, his arms bulked up, and then he woke up. He said, "Man, it was a nightmare." But it wasn't a nightmare, not at all. It was a connection to him running into his feminine side that at the same time he was challenged. So he ran into a sister. The sister happened to be with her son. Her son being more intelligent, you know, at that time frame in being in the present than her. That's the only real reason. The daughter, I mean the mama, she evidently is stronger because she created the child. Yet they docile this little segment to make the whole, you know, a series, and they use the mother to downplay the child and say the child don't know any better, don't touch that. And then the woman, she comes, she's like, he's all right. And so that shows that side too, and how we're like, oh man, this is where we get the aid from the teacher type level. And you're like, oh, I like her because she's blonde and she got blue eyes, and you know, and I'm like, oh, what they doing? So they put us in the movie, but to take us out of the movie. And so the mama says, oh, he's all right in school, but he be acting up and da da da. So it was like, she trying to make sure that the child don't get taken. That's one of our modes that we'll say, you know, he act up a little bit, and you know, well, he seems all right to me. And so she pulled her son back to her, and then she was like, told her the story about what happened. And she was basically saying she had pushed the car over, saved her child. Yes, respect. Give thanks. Respect. Push the car over. It's mom. Yes. Push the car over, and for pushing the car over, he got mad and ran out of the room, impotent. And he was mad because she was able to push the car over. He was like, "Whoa, this woman not even like 95 pounds, soaking wet, pushing the car over. Nah, can't believe this." So he went his own tangent. They call it impotent. This from Asir also, because Asir be breaking it down. Asir do
Yeah, because I'm about to actually do a broadcast on male impotency on here. So
yeah, see, and this is that stage that they're showing, and we get this from also what's my brethren? I can't think of. He'll come up. Rob
Blackman.
No, it's not Rob. It'll come to me in a second. He basically broke it down too about how they'll give us the technology, and the technology was about him wanting to be able to push the car over. However, he found out gamma ray works for his body, and so he put the gamma ray in his body. Yet this was the stuff that messed him up, and at the same time, this is the stuff that when he got angry, he got really strong. And that's what Dr. Deborah Blair was talking about. Where we at now, in this stage now of having the Bluetooth and putting it in the ear and turn your microwave car on. I call it a microwave car because you in there so long, you're getting fried. And so you turn your radio on, and you got the radio on, you got the earpiece in, somebody called you, you put them on.
You talking about Rob Hayes?
Yeah. And you want to, you know, that's it, Rob Hayes. And then, you know, you want to actually change the frequency of where you at, because you don't lost your spot. So now you put the map on, and so now you got the map, you got the Bluetooth on, you got the car running, all this electronic gamma hitting at you, and then someone get in your lane, and now you get out my lane. That's another, you know, energy that we're probing off into low key. They call it low key. That's why he came up. Low key is the green brother. I mean, he wears the green on, again, the green, going into the green again. How that's the center of everything. There's these long hippie directions they're going with us. They're giving the low key with long hair, just like they gave Thor with long hair. And low key happens to be the twin, or I'm gonna just say brothers, to Thor. And so this is the separation of Asgard from having as above, so below. But then there's this mid, and that's where Loki is. He's the lord of the mid gods, and that's what we don't be thinking about. Green is most of the earth. Blue is the other etheric part to it. Is there anything in particular? Oh, look, check this out. Oh, you got it. All right. See what I'm saying? You on it.
I need you to wrap this with your most love and like the last piece.
That's an awesome piece, bro.
Thank you. I'm gonna put it on a medallion.
Look at this.
Take your time with it.
Selenite. You see how it's hitting it there on it? And this is off the camera. That's off the camera now. You can feel it. It's totally different. And you can feel how good that is too. This source of power on this. Yeah. Purified stone. Now this is for people who have issues and they say, I can't do here. This is what you need right here. Sit down for a few minutes, get this in your hand, work on it, breathe, relax, you know, let it do what it's supposed to do. And that's how you find out minerals are awesome.
Wrap something like that for me.
Yeah, resend me that picture.
Send you that, get something to think of. All right, I'm gonna leave that.
This is fire.
Just hit me with whenever you're ready. All right. Thank you, bro. Respect.
This is fire. When you think about what our elements are doing for us, they're helping us when we don't even know it. We eat sugar, we eat salt. That's crystals. In the air, you're sucking in air. That's crystals. When they say you scratch yourself and you got dust or ashy arm, whatever, you got now crystals in your fingernail. That's how much crystals is everywhere. Ice has crystals in it. So when you think of what crystals are, they're the next link up to the next link from the down. That's why green, that green represents the Emerald City energy. And you know, the red and the blue, that's still a representation of the fire. If you light a fire, okay, confirmation. You light a fire, right? Now, this is in the light. You can see red at the bottom and the top being bright. So it got to be a yellow or going into from an orange to a yellow at the top. But then at this bottom is the ether energy. That's blue. So why do they say red is just the root? Blue can be the root too. And so when people using the blue, that's like the blue lodge or blue, whatever you're using it for. I'm not into what you're doing. It's the intermixing of what we call using your plumb. They got a plumb line when you draw. It's like using the middle without saying you're using the middle. And that's where the trick and technology works at the most. Letting you see what one hand do that the other hand you don't know what it's doing. And so that's the other part that we're like from masculine to feminine. How do they bond? They when at time they don't bond, you know, and can it be something that helps them when it comes to that? Give thanks, respect. How do you get into your center self? And that's where the breath comes from. When you crystal form, you crystallize. Yet remember the thing that Bruce Lee brought up was you gotta uncrystallize. So now when you crystallize, it's the solid. Now that you became solid, you want to liquidate that solid. So when you liquidate that solid, you gas it right on out. And that's what Sag is. Sag represents gas. Sagittarius line, sagittal line, that's the gas line. Taurus is in the center of that. So the bull was sacrificed, which it shouldn't have got sacrificed, supposed to be honored. That's why we're still in this torment now. Tormentor, that's all there. Tor is the turtle, the Taurus. So we know the represents Tahuti to the Taurus being the two. The Hathor, the hat whore is what they created in a bipolar energy. You know, one who wears the heels yet not knowing the heel yet. You can wear the heel, sister. It just gotta know you got a heel though. Don't cheat thrill with your heels. You know what I mean? Like, that goes a long ways. And because what's that brother name? Marley? Was it Marley? He did Badass, I think, kick ass or something. It was a old school 1970 joint. Mario Van Peebles' father, actually. That's who it was. Mario Van Peebles' father created a movie that he not only directed, he played in it. And he wanted to play the part that he felt was the actuality in exposing us in the media. And in that, he was showing this child that got sex at an early age. And that's how we'll find out from the child to the adult, what stage did we skip to where we supposed to be a teenager. And that's how the Melvin. Yeah, Melvin Van Peebles. Yep. He did it.
Sweetback's badass song.
Yeah, you go. Yep. And when he did that, he was showing our children now. But this is also the analytic, analytic syndrome. And that's known as the Sigmund Freud. The idea that we want to screw our mother. And then we came with the MFer and the brown paper bag where we put it on the woman's head aspect. This is the chip. That's the new chip era in our crow era. Because the crow really represents crow. Look at the word crow. CROW. With it as a K, you can see it as WOR. That's it. WORK. Work. So we've been working as a crow for who knows how long. And when the crow really says its sound, it's ha. No, it's is like a sound of a car. So when it has a sound, we actually play this persona. We call it persona. That personally, you start to become feeling like a crow, working all day and night, from sun up to sundown. You know, and a crow in its own animal totem represents death if we don't see it as regeneration. That's why there's a lot of people who say superstition became the one that they live off the most because they living off of that.
And I'm a Sag too, Christopher A. Randall L. I'm a Sag too.
Okay, so and that's why you're known as the diamond from the gem. The diamond from the gem. The diamond was the actual top part. So now, I mean, the diamond was they say the part that fell. Yet it's the gem that we start from. And they say the gem in I. The gem in I is here. So you go into your gem in I, right? Which you said, me, myself, and I. The gem in I is the me mental, right? That's connected to your spiritual. Why is it connected? Because it became physical. Yet it's your 3 months or moons that we didn't know of. The Noah. Noah represents the Taurus, like what's my brother throughout Sanchez, Mr. Astrology. He breaks that down too about the Tor and the torment and the bull and the Abel from Cain. This separation of 2 became 3 because of 3 times itself makes it 9. Yet 2 plus 3 is 5. So the Hiru, the heart, is in the center.
You talking about Mr. Astrotheology?
I like that. Yeah, Mr. Astrogeology.
Yeah, Santos Bonucci. I'm familiar.
Yes, that's it. And he'll show you our men, name, omen. You know, we've been looking at words all the time, and it's still Nemo. It's still Nomo. It's the Nomo Dogons. The Dogons is the Godons. And they say you got big gonads. That's still connected to the Dogon. We're coming out of the 9, right? The Sagittarius line that goes into the diamond, and then you come out as a diamond. You come out as a diamond. That's the 10. That's the I-10, the antenna. We became as an attention to ourselves. We've been connected. We've been having this attention in a different X span. The X still represents 10, yet the 9 coming out of Sagittarius is the triple times itself, become the diamond. And so one who's a Gemini ability, opposition of Sagittarius, is one who's now balancing their air with their fire. And if you can put those connections together, that's cool that your granny nickname is Diamond. Because see, we'll find out that we've been put in a path that already has a path. And now you see why you're on that path. And there's your trinity that, you know, past, present, near future. What we haven't looked at is you was created in the aspect of 9 months of birth. That's the gestation of Sagittarius right there. What's missing is the 3 months to your earth. That's the Gemini that's not explained. And so they'll say that you at your highest peak when they cut you off at a certain peak of your time of knowing yourself. You have to still go back 3 months ahead of yourself. You got to actually go 3 months behind you to be ahead of yourself. What I mean by that is you got to celebrate. You've been doing a birthday cake and all that. Let's do something different. Let's not do the birthday cake. Because the cake really represented your mother. So every time you got that cake, they did a Sigmund Freud eat the cake anime, eating the cake, put the candle on it, burn the fire, ritual. That came from who was that? Leela Africa. He was speaking on that one. He said you got a ritual of the candle, blowing the candle out with your own spirit. You got fire on your own air. You blowing that out. And now you taking the candle off, you connect it to the cake, you done turn the light back on when it was off. So out of darkness into light. You know, you're brain dead, basically. You know what I mean? Peace. And so there's a point of go back 3 months, do some other mantra energy, like affirmations, like getting books of affirmations. I don't know if I skipped past the books. I must have had. I did that, but We got books like this, affirmations like this one here. Sister writes down. So to get rid of baggage from the past, you got to become a light loader. You got to learn what to do in your light load. Get some crystal books to learn more about the crystals. Maybe you need some revolutionary beings in front of you. You know, something that's going to help you heal thyself. And then what was it speaking on earlier about Christianity? Christianity before Christ. Sometimes we don't know ourselves to be crystals as Christus. And Christus, crystals, they're hand in hand. They're hand in hand. So when you find out that the majority of how we were speaking was that we were the phonetics of that. And that's the Dogon. That's what the Dogon, that's what the Jegna was about. The Jegna is joy. Yes.
I told y'all, but Christopher A. Randall, my bad, you was not here before I introduced him. I said I suggest everybody get their paper and they pen, they writing few tools because I've been writing. I know, so I appreciate you for noticing that.
Thanks, respect. And you notice that as a Sagittarius, we're able to profoundly throw around all the circle of what that is. The circle represents the mutal side of everything. So you can. It sounds like to someone else you just jumping around, and it's not. We're going like a full circle 360 coming out 361, and now I'm gonna show you the now we're gonna go into another circle that's gonna be a 720. It's like, wait a minute. Like, yeah, we went in the circle, but we're gonna show you more in that circle. It's the idea that don't leave it flat. You know, when you're around people, don't leave it flat. Give them something well-rounded about yourself. Give them something where you lob at. Yeah, what? I mean, so many levels. Like, what? That's why the multiverse from Doctor Strange was awesome. Like, you look into that, don't even look in just him. Look at him as being an older person. Look at him being one who thinks they're mature. Look at him thinking of himself when the first one came out, how he was arrogant about, you know, the other side of the realm. What he knew because he saw people dying. He just didn't think about afterlife, where Asir is at, where you're being judged by your heart, being measured to be Ma'at. You got to still be a Ma'at character. That means you still got to be in tune with your math. You still got to know what mathematics is. Mathematics. Yeah. And when we say mathematics, you hear meta in there. That meta represents your metabolism. It represents your meat. Your meat is your ma'at. They say food for thought. That's your ma'at. You're into ma'at when you know ma'ati. Yes. And that's the Tahuti side of how the symbols are not only symbols anymore. The sigils that's constantly kicking at you. They're basically saying, wake up. Just like the alarm be like going, tin, 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 tin. You're like, what? Let me hit this button. And so there's sounds that echoes. This is where I get all the way to where now why you know I was going all the way around. The sounds are echoes, and when the echoes come back, they're echo. Tahuti's echoes, techo. So your technology is like how that visionary technology came out. When you see WandaVision, they're showing you how they made a vision. Right. To distort everything. And how she created a bubble. Remember I said be round. A bubble around the flat world. I said, look at that. And sped it through time. I'm not talking about time you think of. I'm talking about generational time. She sped it up so long that it went all the way to now here. I'm pulling it all the way around now to Doctor Strange. I said, wait a minute. They pulled WandaVision in here with Doctor Strange. They did. They sure did. They pulled this thing all the way around full circle and didn't tell you to look that way. Right. So it's letting you know that when you go up a mountain, you might go up a mountain. You walked up there by yourself. Or how about you go up a mountain with a bike? How about you walk up the mountain with somebody? How about you ride an apparatus up the mountain? So there's different things that have you look at going up the mountain is different. You coming back down. So when they put Miss Marvel, yes, that was the one. When they put Miss Marvel in there, woo, they dropped jewels all the way around with that one. Now, I'm gonna just throw these two things out and I'm gonna leave that alone because the movie's hot. I just think there's a knot and then there's the hot. The knot was where they put the two sisters together holding each other, and I was like, wait a minute, what they doing? They was bonding, yet that's not how they were bonding. That bonding they showing as if, see, okay, so orange is the new black. You heard of that?
Yes.
Okay, so they been did that to us. Just like how the movie Will Smith called Focus.
Yeah.
You heard of that movie? You seen it?
I've seen it.
Okay.
Yep.
So they basically was doing a constant, I gotta put this in your face, but I ain't want you to just go into it and you be mad and you reject it. So they put Oz in front of us first. Oz, O-Z. Now when you see Oz, I mean most people wouldn't want to see it, yet they put that there so that they could do the technology and they call it soft porn, to a point where you're just cool with it, you're okay, you're accepting it, just like how you just showed them, the Miss Marvel. She done went from these stages of who that is to the other Marvels. Because see, there's different Marvels. This Miss Marvel, the WandaVision, and Scarlet the Witch. Scarlet is known as the harlot. Harlot, the chariot. That's the nightmare. So the man is known as the Knight, K-N-I-G-H-T, and the mare on a horse, nightmare. And mayor represents the politics, the politicians. So why not is she speaking what she's speaking as she ruling, And he was doing everything to speak to her as a negotiator too. And he was still keeping her in respect out of all the things she was doing. I was like, yo, this is deep. This is a whole thing. This is what we're talking about, my matriarch with patriarch. And how that coexists. It does coexist. We just choose not to see it because we made it as a Western versus Eastern. When the Western came in, they had to introduce something that was already there. Just like my brother just broke that. I see her broke that down in Anut Fictus, India. The fictionists, they're fiction people that have to make themselves appear to be here. So they got to do everything in the power to replace you while you looking at it with amnesia. Not knowing. And so that's why I know that the ancestors had to give me amnesia so that I'd be prepared for this type of stuff when it's happening. And be, oh, look, did you see? They be like, I don't remember that. You Bernstein now?
Yes.
Come on, I know you know that. It's like the evil eye.
Yeah.
It's like, I ain't look at it. What about CashApp?
In fact,
there you go. And they call it the Mandela effect. The Mandela effect. He brought that up like wow.
Mandela, yeah. Did I say butterfly? What am I thinking about? Oh, that was a movie.
The butterfly. That's a butterfly effect too. Yeah. That's the same thing as the Mandela effect. Because I had to replay it out, but have it of a lesser crime like Minority Report. And either you're gonna think lesser of it or you're gonna think more of it. Who's motivating it, and now lock him up because he's even motivated to think that way. So now premonition towards the thought. Give people a criminal mind characteristics and everybody gonna be criminals. So this is why the word wild got put in. You look at food now for the bird food, it says wild food, wild bird food, or wild. You look at a book, it says welcome to wildlife, you know, giving a lower letdown of nature in front of us so that we wouldn't see the red and blue, and there is no green in between, because that's going to be mean when you get to it. It's going to be this mean green Hulk type mentality, when we know that the Hulk really is the illustration of the woman who pushed her car over because she didn't want her son to die. When you really find out family as Mason is mother and the son. If we start saying anything outside of that, we are perverting it right off buck. That means father can't even be included right now till the mother get right with her child. So when they say mother, the mother, the father, and the Holy Ghost, that was supposed to be son right there. Yet it's called Holy Ghost. So now that's essence. Yet that's not the essence of the woman they're talking about. I'm gonna say that again. That's not the essence of the woman they're talking about.
Mm.
And where did I get that from? That came from Mr. Astrology. When you say, oh, and Rod Hayes, when you say sperm, you're still saying spirit.
Mm-hmm.
You're saying aspiration, aspire. So when we're talking about man, he was talking about all three was him, so that he could be stronger than the woman. Yet that's not a good thing either. That's only an explanation to the three lefts to the one right. That's all it was. Look at your dollar bill. The dollar bill got three ovals, right? And one got a shield.
Mm.
They're telling you 31 or 3-1 or 1-3 or 13 at the age 13. At your age 13, you're supposed to be learning something. There we go. And that's the 3 in the 1. That's the 3 in the 1. That's why it's 4. That's why it's law, all law. That's why it's a law before it became a lot. We say a lot. We got a lot of people. And it became meridians to our body parts. And when we looked at this became the sun on the rising, the noon, and the set to be now just without having a woman there. No woman presence. So the head of a heart, the heart of a heart, and the hips of a heart. But these are fires. So there's a fire in the head, fire in the heart, and a fire in the hips. Now, how in the world can I have a woman create me and I think less of her? Right. Because she created me. Oh, that's right. Because someone told me that she got created. So there's no way she's going to be better than what created that for her, you know? So to take you out of your nonfiction to now your fictitious self, we became an animal, right? An animal. It's not even anti-male. You an animal. An animal. Wouldn't know it either. So it's another deity energy in words. Ma, the L, the Annie, all there the whole time. That we'll say it constantly. And it'll be our own phonetically slur. Like the crow that said, I didn't know that was Eric. I just heard Eric after a while. And I said, oh, what the heck? Did you just call me?
He's calling you.
Yeah, I've been calling you since your mama gave you that name. I said, oh, because name is amen. Name is rename. Name is Nammer. We got the Nammer energy going on right now. We are hammer energy right now. When one holds a hammer, it's the Arm and Hammer. So now the hammer is the banner. We all learn this when we go into the L's and learn the Noble Drew Ali. The hammers is the amber. We got amber energy from the tree, the sap that come out. That whole tree cutting the cherry tree, the whole connection, the Nat Turner and cherry from that connection. There's different ways to know your Nat is nature as a turn as Turner. When they turned the wheel, that was the wheel of Taurus. The terrain had to change. So not terror in the rain energy, but the rain, like your crown on your head, like how the child that comes out in this birth, mama had to break a crown in order to create. Jack and Jill went up the hill, yet they didn't heal. Not like an animal. I'm talking about heal with nurturing before nature. And we went into the nurturing and lost that. You know what I mean? So everybody now need a mapper. Not a napper, a mapper. A Ma and Pa energy. Yes. The nap was to get you into Rip Van Winkle, so you can get old as you're getting every time. I gotta go lay down. I'm tired. I gotta go lay down. I'm tired. How many times I hear it myself from my own mom and dad, and they did all type of militant, yet they more tired than anybody I know on the planet, and they worn out because of it. They done showed us the 12 hours. The 8 hours. What was it? 9 to 5. I'm working 9 to 5. Nope, never seen that one. Yeah. We work over 12 hours shifts, and then there's 16-hour shifts, and now we 24. That's what it was trying to show us. 8 times 3 is 24, but the 8 plus the 3 is the 11. It's the message. You got to get the message. 8 is the Scorpio energy. What we getting going to? The black sun, the black what they doing now? The black Shazam. They're doing Black Adam. So we saw Adam before autumn. They got Adam. Isn't autumn Adam? Okay, I'm confused already. So that's how we'll have a separation of the gender before we know principles. We're supposed to know principles, right? Then we go into gender. If you know principles, the trash got to get taken out. Shoot, I'm an athlete. I ain't got to take the trash out. Really? You doing that? Yes. Well, how about I'm the nurse and I take care of this heart. You take the trash out. I don't have to pull position. The position is principles. Let's just take this trash out because the trash need to be taken out. There you go. Right. There go Black Adam. And who are they going to use? But the Rock. The Rock. And the Rock hasn't been put here on them. It's been put here on us, the Plymouth. Plymouth represents the Midas or the Mazda or Master. So they're using one brother who's from Hawaii that we know, if we can go deeper into the science of royalty and nationality, this is Kamehameha. Empress Kamehameha. Kamehameha. We know that from Goku on Dragon Ball Z. Yet the same reason why they had to show us this is because of the banyan trees. They might call them the sensu beans and things like that. So it would be unfamiliar. Yet the banyan trees, something that came from Southeast Asia, Bangladesh, all the way on this side of the continent. I had a sister show me from Hawaii, how she took the picture and this big old banyan tree. She could hide behind that thing. Nobody knows she there. That's how we know from Renuka Rashidi. He broke that thing down on how these trees are so huge that you can hide behind one little limb and no one to know you there. So when Alexander the Geek come through and try to destroy everything, he didn't find that. He didn't know how to destroy that. So there's things that missing links to our culture, and we say, oh, we Kemetic. Yes, we Kemetic. We also connect to the Asians. So you hear the word Malaysia, Malaysia, and then you get China. The word Chino. This is where you get from Asir. He said Chino. I said, dang. I hear it sound like saying Chico. I said, dang, we be eating Chico sticks. Now looked at it, I was like, dang. So we've been converted to think perverted about slant-eyed people as if that's what you call them. When you got slant eyes, you look at Ptah. You look at him real deep. His eyes is not round, it's round and slanted. And look at my eyes. I got a little slant. It's like, yeah, you go. That's it. You had it.
I always look. Yeah, some people don't know what Chico sticks are, so I had to bring it up.
Come on, bring it in.
Yeah.
And so they're showing you the color. They're showing you the color, and they put what, peanut butter in the inner of it. Yeah. The center of it. Yeah. They make you enter the center without knowing it. So they're getting you into the mix of your color variations without telling you color variations. Who does that? You know what I'm saying? So it's a point of even the Moors. If you look at I think it's MEIHR, you find the word mirror, where I come from, Germany, right? Mirror or Moor. The word Moor is used as chocolate, biscotta, chocolate, biscotta, mirror. And they'll show a brother with a what they call it, tarbush went to the head wrap, and the head wrap went to the tarbush, and the tarbush became a fez. So they're downplaying or downsizing the highest of ourselves to it could be the lowest of itself, but that's the area. You find out Mir is a name they put as a pub. They put it as ice cream. They got it with chocolate on the outside or white being the chocolate because we didn't know the difference. And then they reversed it and then made the chocolate dark chocolate. And I'm like, oh, because chocolate ain't chocolate. Man, I've been switched. And so then they'll say white chocolate. And I was like, oh, now I get it. So from a non-melanin to melanin, we known albinos for the longest and not really paid attention to how you might not like yourself because you so bright skinned or you so dark skinned. This is the syndrome that a lot of our younger children end up having to face because there's this livelihood or life story that didn't get played as much as we thought it was before it got downplayed, and that's what we end up seeing instead. So we
My
took
great grandmother's albino.
yeah, see, there we go, right here. Look at all that, and it's still beautiful skin, and they'll have somebody else mock that and say that's Ham, curse Ham. It's like, wait a minute, curse Ham. You gonna curse Noah too? You gonna curse Noah for having Ham and Ham? You know, we're gonna go on further down the line, and Cain is you curse Ham, you curse Cain. Oh, those are 3 stages again, you know. And so we put the hammer as a Thor coming from Asgard, knowing who's that but Odin, being the father, having a child, having a low key, and now everybody on the earth. And this will be foreign filth and filth when we find out that it's the giants, the Nephilim giants, the Twa people, and then us in between. How do we learn the 3 bodies? We're 3-body people. We've always been 3-body people and more than that. Now it's just a matter of how much do you know of your bodies. Are you connected to your dwarf star? You connected to your giant star? You ever talked to them? You ever chanted to them? Maybe even just look to them, or maybe don't say nothing and just look for them. You know, it takes a little bit of time for meditation. I know it was hard for me to find my middle self, and I was like, whoa, I saw red, and then I start seeing stages of the red, from purple to red, and red to yellow and green. And then I hit my blue, and I said, oh, that's what he meant by chakras. You ever stand near a white painting, a white wall or something, and stay there long enough? It'll show you your chakras. It'll show you what chakra you're into right now. When you're in the sunlight and you took a picture and it was that little reflection that was bouncing off of you, you couldn't see it. But when you took the picture, there's your chakra sitting in there. If you notice that when you shoot water and you hitting the plant and you outside and the sun hit it, it got to be the right direction though. If the sun hit you in the right direction, you hit that plant. It don't even have to be a grass on the ground. If you got a house plant and you outside with the plant and you shooting water on it, you're going to see a rainbow. I guarantee it. Rainbows are all over the place, and those are our chakras. When you're inside and the sunlight hits in your house in a particular area, it's going to show a rainbow, whether it's through glass or shoot, you see rainbows in bubbles. How do you not see your chakras on your outside reflecting in? There you go. And you'll see it so much that when the sun hits it, your eyes pick up the spectrum. And now you see beyond sight, as they say in Thundercats. That was another reason for watching Thundercats. Thundercats were giving you the thunder like the lightning bolt of what we call leg to Ogun. The connection of what Ogun did was give a pathway, which is green. And the pathway was given to us as not just through, because sometimes we did go through sex, and then the sex ended up being not non-sensual, and then it ended up being rape. Now we found out we don't like being raped, so now we go back to the sensual side, and that lets us know that we're not staying stuck on the side where, I like rape all the time, because some people do like it rough, but then you realize that's the rape side of yourself, And when we see sight beyond sight, you're going into the Odin. That's why Odin was at the top, and Thor was I don't know where Thor was at. Thor was all over the place. Thor was flying all over the place. He was on the rainbow. He did the thing, but he was able to take care of Loki, connect to him. But that was your spine. This sword represents your spine, your left and your right. That's the hemisphere of your brain and how you think from it. And what colors they using? The red, right there to start in your root chakra. It's on his head. You know what I mean? And they're using the blue, and they got that gold in between. These are your fires. There are 3 fires right there.
Wow.
So he's like known as a fire starter. And but it's not on his right arm, it's on his left arm where his heart is at. And where his right hand, he ended up having that sword.
Which is war. The left is the peace side.
Yep, which is wards. Wards and war. So war was written W-O-R, right? And W-O-R-E. and then you write the word W-A-R, and then you turn that word around, you got raw, R-A-W, and then you take the W out and put an H, you got R-A-H, which is R-A, raw. And we say raw, not just raw, we say raw. You got to roll the tongue, you got to feel that. So it wasn't flat. When you saw Lionel, you thought he was flat because he was talking all soft and stuff like that. But then with Thundercats, oh, and it was like, oh, shoot, the brother, he amped up. So now he's showing you I got a feminine side and I got a masculine side, and it's not gender, it's principles. We need to focus because we might have saw it as an athlete. Athletes are great, but geniuses are greater.
Right.
When you're a genius, you could be an athlete and be a genius at the same time.
At the same time.
You can now adapt that easy line that they said, I want you to stroke this way and stroke that way when you go in the water. Got it. In your mind, you're saying, I'm going to stroke this way, I'm going to stroke that way, but I'm going to breathe, because he ain't thinking about me breathing right now as I do that, so I can continue what he's talking about, because he might have skipped that part, because he's thinking outside the box when you're inside the box coming out. He's the outside wanting to go in the box. This is what reminds us as the coach. The coach is going to be there as the coacher, yet they still got to mentally, physically, then spiritually connect to that attachment. And that's your 3 realms. You got to have the 3 realms. You got to have a solidifier, a liquidator, and a gasser to help you at least start your fires up. Once you do that, now you deal with your earth. Now you deal with your air. And now you deal with your water, which is your reflection. Your water is your river, your rain, because you arrange, you rain, and your range is how you shoot it. So now whether it's water shooting down or a big ice glacier coming down, that's what hell can end up being. We don't look at it from that point because it was written in everything. So now how you poetically apply it to yourself, it represents T-I backwards. So it's Tahuti. How do you apply Tahuti to your I thought? How you I thought thinking? You can I thought think, but think is one thing and thought is another. Think is going inside. Thought has to come out. Yet when someone is to bring up the conversation, that's just like saying, the definition, yet someone is still defining it right now.
Right.
So when I say, oh, I thought you were saying this, now it's a past, even though I'm explaining it in the present. That's what can confuse a lot of people. And this is why we don't really talk about, well, can you do it or not? Because we say, maybe I'll do it. Nah, you do it or you can't.
Exactly.
That's why this
That's
belief
the code I live by.
Yeah, the belief now getting knocked out the box now. It's getting knocked hard. And it's sad because it's attached to a zodiac sign, mine, Pisces, where I'm supposed to be believing all this stuff. I'm supposed to believe in all of y'all. Wait a minute. I'm supposed to be believing in y'all? Well, I need to know about y'all, because then there ain't nothing to believe in if I know it, right? I know it better. That's why it's a stronger way of speaking, even to yourself.
Yes.
A stronger way. Pronounce your sounds. Like I might be Eric, but I could say Eric. I can make all that sound out of there because it's mine. I can own that. Now, of course,
that's right.
It's not mine physically, because see, when we talk that way, because when we say it's mine, this is where the world kind of got distorted right here. When they say, oh, it's mine, mine represents M-I-N-E, M-I-N-D. So when you say mine or mind, they want you to be more specific. Well, the universe is like that too. When you're speaking like that, you say, this is mine. If it's saying it's yours, we're going to see how you either mind or don't mind what is being done to you when you don't want it to be yours. Because there's an in between just as much as that good and the bad or the up and the down. Right. How does one really act when they're in a relationship? If you're like my young brother who, going to go swimming, are you going to be in a relationship to go further in your swimming? Or are you going to let that swimming get distracted by the woman that you with, that probably don't even want to be there that long with you? So you got to look at what's more important. When you look at Avatar shows you a lot in there. Relativity. He might have loved the woman on the 3rd chakra. Then he realized, man, why is this woman making me upset on my 8th chakra? And you find out that you got more chakras than 7. So that's why it's like, oh, this is grounding. Grounding, earthing is important. And it was showing it throughout the whole thing. He had to learn how to meditate. I don't care if you're an airbender, firebender, waterbender. You got to learn how to meditate these things.
Oh, you want that avatar?
Oh, I see what you're saying. That's another one too, though. Yeah, the avatar.
Okay.
With the legends of Avatar shows us that there's a series of learning and grasping that as a child that has no hair, they grew his hair on his head and then cut it back off again. For us in reverse, as a man, we come in the world with hair on our head. We might have cut it off and then we grow it back from the full grasping and understanding. Now, of course, we've had it in reverse where we didn't have hair, we grew hair, and then the things we ate caused us a defect where we cut the hair off, and now we go that way on the way out. So there's the inner, outer, and you see the colors, the red and the blue is always going to be there, and there's this gold in between.
Yeah.
So they're going to give you the Trinity. It's just not going to tell you that it's Trinity. They're going to say there's one side or the other. When this is looking at the Brahma, the Shiva, and the Vishnu. Like one with many hands, and one with only a few, and one that's only got 2. And so it's the idea that you have a greater, a lesser, and the in-between. And when you find that you can really, soft hit instead of hard hit, you ain't got to hit as much. What I mean by that is you don't have to hit 1,000 times to prove one punch. You could be like one punch. And that's it.
That's it.
It's done. We
got time.
Too many times. Yeah, I had someone punch me in the face twice. This when I was young, before the high blood pressure, and I was still in my, waking up, getting out of these experiences of the incest and all the violations you can have at a young age, and I could owe that all to cocaine. Cocaine is a hell of a drug, and because it can side affect your family's family, it can side affect you in the family, and then you're like, oh, that's why all this went down. And then you got people in that area who's like, well, I was selling it, I won't doing it. Well, you were part of that too. And so all of us are playing some kind of karma or harma because we didn't know our family was on it or wanted to get ahead and find out this ain't the way. This is why you find out that people who look in the mirrors don't look in the mirrors because they feel like their body's trapped in there. And you find out because of the things they did in the physical realm caused their spiritual realm to be the side effect in that realm. So not everybody's having a great time being rich. Not everybody having a great time being poor. And not everybody having a great time being in the in-between when you're all 3 of them. So this is the idea of learning how to become, it's okay if you have a great amount of money. It's okay to not have a great amount of money. And it's okay to just be in between that. There's a point where you're going to find yourself as present. And being present helps with all those other things you would like to have. And notice I said like to have instead of want. The word want became an evil word. Evil is lived backwards. An evil word that gave power to a position. And once the position is done, there's no more. It's wasted, And when we mean by wasted, I mean it's kaput. There's no more to come out of it. So you grab all the apples from the tree. Is that good?
Probably not. I say no.
It could be for you. It could be for you.
Yeah. If depending on how you use the apples, they could just be rotten. Then you done wasted what somebody else could have used. Okay,
there we go. And especially when that person come up there waiting to get some, all the apples are gone. Well, who took all these apples and knowing they ain't had to take all these apples?
That's right.
And that's the killmonger that I'm coming back to. We should not take all the fruit from the tree. Take the ones that you are good at and work with that. Break it down even if you have to. Make applesauce, apple, whatever you got to do. Don't take the whole overabundance and then eat so much of it that now you're sick of it and you just got to throw the rest away because you can't even eat it all.
Mm-hmm.
Abundance
That's
is
right.
different when we look at it how you're in abundance. I'm gonna say that again. Abundance is different when you're looking at it how you look at it. You are the abundance that you're looking at. So the more you see it in other things, you don't have to take as much because you already got the abundance in you. And as that who wants to be with somebody and they want to give you it all, yeah. However, remember you're the abundance. So if they're giving it to you all, as easy as they say it is, they could take it back as they gave it.
That's right.
So that had to come with an expectancy, not to say, oh, well, this person give me everything. That's not abundance. That's actually you creating an abuse that you didn't know can be developing.
Right.
And a neglect. Abuse, neglect, and dysfunction. And once we become that way, we got some shadow work to do. And that's where our shadow work, those who don't know, let's start talking about it more. And if you haven't, start talking about it. And if you don't know what it is, it's basically that grounding, earthing, sitting down near the earth. As what we found out in every story, I don't care what story you're looking at, they doing some kind of earthing. I saw Collateral Beauty. That's with Will Smith.
Yeah.
He basically lost his wife. No, lost his child. And when we say lost, see how that sound? His child passed away. And usually when we look in the past, we're hurt by it. So sometimes the past seems like it's regretful that's how we start to keep reliving it. And then his present became that. And then his future was about to become that. And his people that was around him didn't want to see all this happening like that. So they got an investigator to find out what's wrong with this character, because I got like my money on the line and he's weird right now and we need to fix him. And so they came up with Death. I think it was Death, Beauty, or Death, Life and Death and something else. I forgot. You watch the movie, you see how it go. And it basically shows you what shadow work is all about. They just happen to do it on an external conversation. And they happen to have the people play like a person played death and a person played life. Now, who's to know if it's the truth or not? No one knows that. You call yourself what again? Joy?
Yes.
Who knows if that's really who you are? Not saying that you as a being joy, you as the body of happiness and joy that comes out of that name. That's how we found our appellations is way greater than just having a name.
Yes.
And now that we say amen, we can put Ra next to it.
Right.
Because that's what Ra was, to bring out, to manifest, to show what came out of this. Darkness, nothingness, blackness, hidden side. What's now to reveal? How do we reveal something out? And once you're able to reveal it, not saying evil it, reveal it. You make it evil if you don't see it before, and you say, "Oh, that's evil." Don't watch the TV. That's evil. Don't turn on the radio. That's evil. Don't listen to that music. That's evil. Well, if the music is secular, which that's now a term, that good thing that secular really is real. When secular only means second. You hear the word secular to your ears?
Yeah.
What if your mama said Christianity is the best songs you can listen to and everything else is secular? Does that mean that you can't listen to nothing else? What it sound like?
Most times, yeah.
Yeah. Otherwise, it's that. And so you find out Aretha Franklin had to go through that. Her being at a young age, learning herself and finding out that, her father wasn't the great father that he could have been. And the pastor that he was being, but wasn't good at being a pastor at either. Yeah, right. It was for like Dr. Strange. If you look at Dr. Strange, that last one, he was saying some things in there that had me thinking about our older men. Is it elders we're looking at or older we're looking at? When you're an older person, that means you can get away with it, even though that's not good. Should you be doing that, older man? If you're an elder person, that's basically like Jegna, giving you the ability to learn how to, maybe you did have to fall in the rope. Now that you fell in it, here's the knife. I know you won't want to step on that rope again now, do you? Sometimes we do have to step on the trap. However, it's not for you to poke fun and laugh because you knew that the trap was there. That's a tormentor. Not the mentor, the tormentor. You had a little tour with your mentor. So it's just being better to being safe and sound. Help those who are all working on their ways, not to dog them because they're working on. That's dogma. You're dogging your mother when you dog the child. So don't dog our young generation, for they don't know. Help them get it better. And if you know it, that's the reason why you know it. There's a purpose behind it. WandaVision, Wanda was hoarding her energy, and she felt like I was protecting, but you protecting artificial energy, and that was what was being real about it. It was artificial intelligence versus the advanced intelligence, and we put intelligence in ourselves because we improve ourselves. If you make a mistake, it's not a mistake. It's a purpose to improve yourself. I am proof of myself. When my mother created me, I became proof of her and my father. Now, because he had that spermatozoa in him, passed it to her, the egg was already there, spark was created. I was created before the spark. I was creating the thought of where my will and the spark and the egg, and then boom, you have the chick and the chicken. And we call it chick as a hen, a Cornish hen. That's why there's different stages, the egg, Cornish hen, all that is a representation. And it's a powerful representation because it don't just stop. It always been there. You know what I'm saying? And when you find out how it always been there, you can go outside. Like I went to Conscious Planet. I was working there for a minute and doing the same thing I do in here, helping the community in a way of being here. And I don't want a paycheck because if it was by the hours, you couldn't pay me for real. Because I'll be wanting to be here forever. And then you'd be like, oh, you got to go because we can't pay you for these hours you in here. So it's the idea that I had to regroup my ways of thinking and say, you know what, I don't want to do it that way because I don't want the brother to be broke. I'd rather him get his, findings just as much as me. So the store has to be open. Let me just get my copper in here and let me just, push my copper as hard as I can. And wherever I'm being creative at, that'll be my income coming in. And so that's all I do with copper. I also, do sound bowl therapy. I go into that deeper. I talk about the breathing techniques, but I was really talking about how this egg, see how this is a hole in the egg. I went the wrong direction. It's a hole in the egg. But I found this egg outside and I said, wait a minute now. This egg fell out of the nest and I saw the nest. And I said, is the baby still in there? And I grabbed the shell and I was like, oh, the baby gone.
Wow.
When the village don't protect the child.
That's right.
This is the example of what the village, they don't protect the child. This is the house that's on fire and we didn't put the fire out. Do we wait till we find out our house is burning? This is what Malcolm X was speaking. El Malik Shabazz, El Hajj Malik. When we know that his newer discovery of himself became the improvement of saying, okay, my house burnt down. Okay, I see how that went. Because I actually had my house burned down. And I had to learn the non-attached and the disattached are two different categories. And when we know how to not feel what someone does to you, like I said, somebody young, punched me in the face, hit me 2 times. And he was about to hit me a 3rd time. I said, no, you're not. So I hit him. And when I hit him, I only hit him 1 time. But that 1 time was the strongest enough hit to stop him from coming up and hit me again. And that's the way we have to look at our lives and saying, you don't have to hit 5 or 9 times to beat somebody down. What is that proving? You beat somebody down? No. If you want him to stop or her to stop, Show them how you want them to stop, and they'll stop. And you ain't got to keep doing too much, just overdoing it. And that's when I found out, just like how you know, Malik El Shabazz Hajj, when he went to his Mecca concept, his higher self, in seeing still the lower self, having a mid self, as they call it, crisis.
Mm-hmm.
Most people find crisis when they're having a child, a crisis when you lose at winning, a crisis moment. And you could have been winning all this time. You lost one time, just that one time. He felt that right now, even right there, on his knees in a homage energy, and still speaking to Mecca, finding out Mecca is the woman. And he said, wait a minute, I got to come back and then he starts seeing, just like how the Moses concept, go on there and the farm field filth, the brazen of the cattle, and with the brazen of the cattle, you see the brazen of the cattle represents the cow or the calf in a gold, bronze look, or brass look, or even copper look. They put children in there as they did adults, but they rather children because they're more whatever, juicier, whatever they wanted to think of. But cook these people in there while there's in the center of the throat where Taurus is, a horn in there. So when that sound came out, it seemed magical that they used heat on an element and it's making sound, and we get ready to eat that, whatever that is, because we got some barbecue sauce on it and everything. It smells good. We got all the vegetables. We're gonna eat this. This is the same thing that from when you think of Malcolm X had to learn from the pork, like I'm learning, that was bad, to even the meats were bad. And so there's a time frame where now the meats is good, and it's like, wait a minute, the meat's not. Y'all went back to eat meat? Well, yeah, because once you got the higher self taken away, you got a mid self that's gonna say it's okay to the lower self, and now the lower self is gonna do all the things that didn't know or could have known, you know. And when we think of lower self, it's like saying the lowest parts of the body, the hips on down to the feet. Now the hips represent Sagittarius, the knees represents Capricorn, and ankles is Aquarius, and Pisces is the feet. So when we learning all these body parts, it's not just the zodiac, it's the actual ways of thinking. When you are a Sagittarius, you think of how I see it first, then I can get it.
Yeah.
If you're a Capricorn, how I use it first, then I can get it. As a Aquarius, how I know it first, then I can do what it is. As a Pisces, I gotta believe it first. Now, of course, that's not true either. It was the first word. This is why the first word is in the beginning, and it's not. It's a sound. You hear it. You write it down. The first letter after A is what?
B.
Okay. And the B or not to be is the B sound, and the actual B as a letter. So when you write it, you're saying it, but not knowing what you're saying as you're writing it. Look at BE without the extra E. And you're still saying it, but not knowing that that's what you're doing. And then we put BEING. You're a being. But how are you being? Don't know. I don't know. Let me write it with BEING. We don't see that the being is a constant present, a gift.
Right.
Better than anything you could absolutely even put out. And that should already give you enough energy to do what's next as the task. Because when we're putting things out, that's all it is, just like a cast system. Just like a spell is a cast. They put a cast for people who's watching the movie. They put a cast there of crew, a crew member of cast, and then they got a director, a producer. They're doing spell work.
Yes.
If somebody's doing that kind of a ritual and we ain't doing nothing for ourselves, it's time we switch that up. Get your visual board. Go on, get some magazines. I know you say you're bored. Well, when you bored, go cut these out. Cut that out. Well, cut these out and seesaw it as in balance and put it up there on that whiteboard. And now that's your chakras coming out. Every time you look at it, you're going to be in your own
Right.
mirror effect. And that's your admirer versus just the admiral being your admirer. Because the admiral can't win if he's not for you anyway. He's about to lose. And you about to be on the losing team. That's the most worst part about it. Just like how we got the headpiece on, she's showing, or her. She's showing the actual connection. And you look at the left hand is with the book of knowledge. The right hand is the spirit coming out. So you know, spirit is a masculine thing. However, mother created that to give us spirit, aspiration, inspiration. We couldn't do this without you, without nature. We say mother nature. You don't say father nature. You say father time. You say father time in mother's nature. And that's how first became seconds. That's why A isn't B, but B is the first letter before A. And that's why you don't have to stay as an A. Oh, I'm alpha. Oh, I gotta be the only one. Well, how about this, alpha? Alpha ain't alpha as you thought it was. Alpha's supposed to be the one that's not debating. B would became the beta. Well, you hear the word beta. Bates, Bates Motel. Now they call him a bipolar. That's why we have issues with it. We are alpha, beta, theta, delta, gamma. I'm missing the other two, but you can keep going with these rays of energy. Infrared, the invisible ray, those are our rainbows. Those are our ways and our waves. Like this. Okay, this is a good one to write down. You got conception, how mama gave you birth.
Right.
You got inception of how it really went down. You got perception, and that's how it's going to be, you know, because you perceived it this way. And then you have deception, because when deception happens, there's a reason why now the perception, conception, inception, all of them's got to now match up. And then there's reception. That's why it's very important to know that one. Reciprocity. What's my reception? Now, the reason why these are 5 basic right there is because of interception. They call that the Hail Mary, number 6. Yet it's the interception, number 7. How the snake bites you, but the snake that bit you once, that's the poison. Snake bites you twice, that's the antidote. You know how hard the snake bit you the first time. So once you get past the hurt, it's called ATRTZ. You get to your hurts. All right. So now you apply the energy to how you're saying either I accept it with an ACCEP exception, or I don't accept it with an EX exception. And these are your waves to learning around everybody. And the real reason why the 9, right, is denial or denying. So when we say denial, you got to know your Nile River, the Tigris and Euphrates is matching up Mississippi, in Ohio. All right. So when we connect to here on this side of the continent, you can see that as technology is Olmec technology, and Aztec, old tech, as technology. You see, Olmec is Omeka. So we've been using the almanac, but not knowing it for ourselves. Have that almanac represents the Olmec and the Texaco, Mexico, old Mexico. All that's the missing link to keep going with yourself. Now, who gave you but the L? The L gave you eyes, ears, nose, and a mouth to think with. Eyes, ears, nose, and a mouth. Your eyes is your fire. Your ear. Wait, no. Your eyes. I'm gonna say. Ear. No, it's your nose is your ear. I mean, your nose is your ear. Actually, your nose is your air connection, but it's earth. However, the air is Gemini, so that's the ears. And without you having air in your ears, you feel clogged up like your nose feel clogged up. And then the mouth represents Cancer. So to actually think with, you have to speak it. Otherwise, you don't hear what your thoughts are. And that's why thinking works great when you're in the solitude thing. However, if nobody hear you, it's because you ain't speak nothing. Nobody know you hungry. So you got to use your eyes, your ears, your nose, and your mouth. And that's your fire, your earth, your air, and your rain. And that's your eyes being 2 eyes, 2 nostril, 2 nose. Or 2 nostrils. That's 2. Your ears 2, and your mouth is 1. So you got 2, 4, 6, 7. You got 7 parts to work with. And it's up to you to get it right. It's up to us to get it right. Us, we're around y'all. And so we're accountable just like you are. 7 represents balance. And 7 represents the Libra energy. And if you can get into your Libra ability, that's from your eyes, Aries, right? What we just talking about is also connected to the head, Aries. That's why it's one governor for that. Just like the fire, that's the governor. The fire in the heart, he governing that. However, it's the chest that starts it, right? It's the second body section. The first body section is the head. The second body section is your chest. So the fire in the head, the fire in the heart is the first part, Leo, and Cancer being the chest that is sticking above, in front of it, protecting it. So treasure as a measure of your heart. And so when you go into how you treasure yourself, how you measure yourself, do you treasure yourself or measure yourself? It should be both. You know what I mean? And from 6, the Virgo energy, that's your stomach. You got a gut instinct, belly of the beast. All that's the aspect. Now, of course, it's not as much as negative as it is positive. It's both. So being able to balance that will be 7. 7 comes right out of the belly into the head, the pineal gland, coming from off the spine in the back to the medulla oblongata. So we got a lot of fire, earth, air, rain, and then go back again to the hips. Fire, earth, air, rain. You got the elements in you. You should not be scared of anything. Really. You shouldn't. If anything, you need to face whatever the fear is. Because it might be the fire in the head that you had to hear it from, or the fire in your hearts that you had to feel it from, will it from, or it might be the fire in the hips that you had to see it from. These sections will start to show you from a stellar, sonar, lunar energy that we all mixed up somewhere in here, and we ready to get our fire engine started. Yeah, you got to start it with some fire first in order to get some warmness going on. You ever notice when you eat food, first you might have been dehydrated, whatever. You start eating food, you start to feel cold. You feel cold from out of nowhere, but it's your body's breaking down the food, so the heat got to go into the center of the stomach, break the food down, and then the heat come back out with the food. And you're like, oh, that's how I heat back up. So it's just learning yourself again to reset your button, sit back into yourself. It's not as bad as you think. Breathe a little bit better. Go into a pause in between. Don't just breathe in and out. Find that middle. Even if it's in cycles, make it a short middle. As long as you got a middle in there. I breathe out, in, out. That's that pause still in there. Now, if I breathe, pause, out. That gives me more time to think. And now my thoughts come more clearer. Whereas, man, I'm going to just do it. I ain't got time to think this. Why do they stop people? They trying to get them to see if they weren't thinking right. And then see if they're thinking off they square, as they call it. From the square end, what? Your head. And why is it square? Because they're seeing if you fix with your heart, which is the triangle. And then, of course, what's the next thing from that is the circle. How do you see with your circle? Maybe you blind. Maybe you can't see. Maybe you need glasses. So if I can stop you from seeing in the beginning before you get any older, maybe that's how I can stop you from being older. And now you're older, not an elder. This is our states. And because the child being who our livelihood is really at to help, we got to look at it from a child point of view in a childlike ability, and now give them what's needed, what's necessary. Even if it's irrefutable time that you thought of. I'll never give up this time. Yes, you better start giving up some of your priceless time. You so Hasididi, give up some of your time to these children. They love you spending time with them. I've been spending time the past couple of weekends, I call it not even weekends, strength beginnings of how you can give them some structure, and now they better at it. And not only that, they were already watching you. They was waiting for you to open up to them. So that's all I'm gonna say. Give them more time. Help support, like my brother who, swimming. That's big. That's major, and you get all your muscles working. So you're doing a great thing, bro. I love it. I didn't know how to swim. I ain't even gonna lie. I almost drowned, and it wasn't for my mom grabbing me and pulling me back out the water. I would have drowned. See? And so what's that? Truman Show. Look at that. Truman Show will show you. Face your fears. Go on, get on that boat and start going across the water. Maybe that's your first step instead of, doing it all together. Don't go all together. There's this movie called Woman in the Window. Same thing. She had to face her fears. And then when she did, she felt like, dang it, why I face my fears? Because now I'm even more fearful. Yet at the end of the movie, she faced it. And that's what we got to do. We got to overcome the underdog feeling. That's all it is. It's the undertake of the wave that hits you and you feel like, I can't, I'm lost. My crystal's not showing me which way I'm at. I'm lost. And so it takes you to find yourself, though. And when you find out, it's going to be different from the woods and the forest and the mountain and everything else you run into as experience. I give thanks. Respect for my time up here being with you. We're going in.
Yes. And then we in here enjoying you being here as well.
I give thanks. I give thanks.
Yes, older, not an elder. That is right.
There we go. There it is. You got to drop that.
Yes. Because everybody who's older than you don't make them an elder. So
that's right.
That prospect for elders, I don't know. Elders, yes. The olders, no. No.
They jumped on that chair quick.
Yes. Buddha Eternal El Bay, we definitely appreciate you being here today. It's been all love. I told you before you even start speaking that we love you, and they have showed you. They have showed you what I have spoken is real. Definitely, if you don't mind, need to schedule you to come to Karmic Dynasty again to speak more words of power to us. And this time, I seen Cody D. Martinez Jefferson, like, yep, you said get the paper and pen, take notes. Yes, I did. I will plan next time, have your items ready. Be prepared.
Yeah, because we're going to talk about Moon Knight.
Okay, I've done Moon Knight. We can elaborate. I would love to do that. I enjoyed Moon Knight. I really did. Jeffrey's enjoying this as well. Jeffrey, again, thank you for your sizable donation today to King the Swimmer. Definitely Jeffrey Valentine has given the most by way of fiat to the King the Swimmer campaign. And with that announcement also, if you were not here earlier, Karmic Dynasty platform will continue past today. So I am glad I get to move on. That means I will continue my tours. I will continue my broadcast. And instead of moving to Detroit and being boots on the ground, determined to have King the Swimmer swimming, I was about to go just make it happen. I don't have time. I'll be here instead. I love y'all. I can do both. I can do all things. But I was about to just shut this down. I didn't have time with y'all. I appreciate the support. I'm proud of y'all. I'm proud of us. King the Swimmer now has so many more people he knows is here for him. The support is real, y'all. Everyone who has came on the panel, Buddha Eternal El Bay has been here. Conscious Said has been here. I appreciate all of the man energy in here, such as John Sun, Jeffrey Valentine, Cody D. Martinez Jefferson, Christopher A. Randall L., etc., etc. I appreciate all of the men coming here in the energy that I brought forth to deliver to King the Swimmer and his efforts. Y'all stay tuned because it's coming up. That Olympic gold, King the Swimmer is coming. Also, right quick, if you missed it, those who gave donations to King the Swimmer campaign I made up, I am doubling your donation in a form of groceries. So thank you for your time, everyone. And we are leaving you now. And I am Joy Ishram. I appreciate you all being here. I will see you all probably, I need about a week to 9 days to myself.
There you go.
He's saying peace to y'all again. They didn't see you. Go ahead again.
No, I said that's good. That's what you need. You gotta get that
Booty, turn up, I seen you with the peace sign. They didn't see you. You were off camera. So
see me?
That's why one of the reasons the broadcast was like, not I need some peace. I need the balance. I need to refocus, and come at y'all again. Okay. So I will see you all in about 7 to 9 days. I have a few things to do. I appreciate you all being here. I love Karmic Dynasty because I love you all. Enjoy your day and time.
Got that Trinity out.
I like that one. Peace, y'all.
Good. Peace. Own this back.
No hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 yo, go, go, go. Hustle hard, hustle every single day. I'll be making moves till I'm buried in my grave. To the system, I don't wanna be a slave. I've been doing shit my way, or the highway, and in the driveway.